Chapter 126. The record refreshes the screen. Sorry Dino, you can back down anytime, but not this time. Gray stood by Dino's side and swore solemnly. Dino spread his advice. Gray, my brother taught you a lesson today. No matter what you do, don't raise a flag casually, it's easy to be slapped in the face. Leon on the other end also leaned over. Although I don't understand what the flag means, I will do my best. Listening to their words, Dino's mouth twitched. If you don't have the strength, you still like to say things like this, so it's no wonder that you will be taught to be a human being. By the way, I started to care during the qualifiers. What the hell are you? Gray was also curious when he looked at the little man with the pumpkin in front of him. As you can see, I'm a pumpkin. The pumpkin man clapped his hands and introduced himself. The Blue Pegasus members and Mermaid Heel members on the other side said they didn't care. We see it every year at the races, so we don't pay much attention to it. It could be the organizers' staff. See people start chatting. The members of Big Crowtail also immediately reprimanded. Wait for me. Fanshu also urged. We don't know yet what is the competition in the competitive part that starts next. Not only that, the content of the competition in the next few days will not be announced. Fairy Tail has two people. No matter what you think, this match will be in their favor. Pumpkin Man is embarrassed. He raised his palm to stop him from continuing. There's no way to do this. After all, 2 teams in one guild have passed the qualifiers, which is already very impressive. Nan Pumpkin. Rufus of Swordbite Tiger said, I don't care, my memory is singing. It may not be beneficial to have 2 people participating in the competition. I don't care either. I'm fine. Cut. Everything else said it doesn't matter. As expected of the tiger that bites the sword, the king is so unhurried. Gray smiled. Rufus smiled. Companions can be your weaknesses, hostages, threats, intelligence leaks, and many other disadvantages. You have to remember. Listen to this. Dino raised his eyelids. Sweeping over that, Rufus yawned. Fundamentally, I still want to try the feeling of being kidnapped, but no one seems to be able to. Suddenly, the Pumpkin Man makes everyone's speech, pointing to the sky with both hands. Everything in front of him began to deform, and buildings appeared one after another. Form a city throughout the arena. Everyone else was shocked. City? It's so big. What's going on here? It's amazing. Wow, a city appeared in the arena. It's amazing. How the hell is this done? Can you create a city out of thin air? How much magic does it take? Onlookers, contestants, as well as the places where the various guilds are located, seeing the buildings appearing in the entire city is also shocking. He stared at him in disbelief. At the same time, all the people were teleported throughout the city. No one knows where the others are. The audience in the venue can watch the game in the city through the magic crystal screen. Someone explain. I saw a screen appearing one by one in the sky above the city, which refers to the shots of the 8 players. The rules of the game have also begun to be announced. None of the 8 contestants knew the specific conditions of the others. The rules of secret are very simple. Everyone is both a catcher and a hider, and the players have to find other people in the city and give the opponent a blow. There is no restriction on what magic can be used in the game, regardless of whether the blow hurts the opponent or not. The team who succeeds in the attack will get 1 point. Suddenly, a burst of phantoms reappeared in the city. Countless other members of the same kind emerged around the body, all standing motionless. There are many of the same person. Poof! It can be presented. Now it's going to be difficult. Everyone else was talking. The rules continue to explain. These are the replicas of the players. If you choose the wrong object and attack the replicas, the attacker will lose 1 point. Players, you are like black cats lurking in the dark night. Disappear in silence. Juang. Secret. Start. As the bell rang, the game officially began. Countless people turned their attention to the players they wanted to see. Makarov touched his chin. This is not good for Dino. His moves are very powerful, and once he fights with people, it will affect many clones. Kana drank with a bottle of wine. Ha ha ha. Do you want to watch Dino make a fool of yourself? Dino won't lose. Anne unclenched her fists tightly. Her lovely eyes locked on the screen. Gray attacks the replicator, -1 point. Not long after the start, the record began to ring, and Gray also managed to lose 1 point. Soon, the players also hid their shadows. They all mixed into the crowd. How to find this? Once you make a mistake, you may reveal your position to the enemy. Gagil and others also looked at Dino, who was standing still in the city. At this time, in the picture, Dino's body slowly flew up. Go directly to the top of the sky to expose all of your figure. Immediately, countless people were puzzled. What is he going to do? Directly expose his position to become a target? Even if you don't know how to play this kind of competition, it would be too mindless. He thought he could dodge all attacks. Regardless of the contestants, or the group of people watching the game expressed their incomprehension. They didn't understand what was going on with the 757, and the scene. After Dino flew in the air, he raised one hand high, and his palm was aimed at the sky. I hear all of you. The pounding of muscles. Dino murmured softly. The golden light bloomed in the air, and countless white lights bloomed immediately. That white light turned into 6 beams and was emitted at 6 different places. Sound magic middle. God's ear. Everything can be heard. The squirming of muscles. The sound of footsteps. The sound of heartbeats hit them with magic. Dino hits Leon, score +1. Dino hits the road, score +1. Dino hits Beth, score +1. Dino hits Nulpudding, score +1. Dino hits Yego, score +1. Dino hits Ibrahimovic, score +1. Moment. The sound continued to sound, and Dino hit 6 players in an instant. Be number 1 on the current score list when you want. Everyone was shocked. My god, how did he do it? He hit 6 members at once, and scored 6 points in an instant. This score is a bit too fast. How could he know where the others are? Could it be that his magic still takes the initiative and fails to find enemies? If this is going to continue, doesn't it mean that the points battle situation has been locked in advance? No, no one else can let him do that. Chapter 127, First Place, Fairy Tale Team B, 10 points. Shambhatti, who was reporting live, also recovered immediately after a brief trance. Holding the microphone, he also enthusiastically answered everyone present. Very well, everyone can see the scene just now. Dino of the Fairy Tale B team hit the other 6 people except the Fairy Taler team of the same team with 1 blow, and instantly came to the first place. The location of the name. But at the same time, Dino himself is completely exposed in the air. Whether he will become a target for other members to attack, let us wait and see. All the people recovered. Some people applauded and cheered, while others were shouting loudly for the members they supported to work hard. On the high platform, Makarov and others are also excited to be unable to self. Ha ha ha, see if this is the real strength of our fairy tale. Dino did a good job. Let's defeat all the enemies. Kana, who was beside him, couldn't help but complain. Just now you said that Dino was at a disadvantage in this part. The original Mavis also waved his little hand. Come on, Fairy Tale. In the field, the faces of the revived people are not very good looking. Mainly because they did not expect that they and others would be defeated so thoroughly. Damn it, damn Fairy Tale dare to do this to me. I want you to look good. The Nulpudding of Crowtail rushed to the sky angrily and attacked Dino. And there was a storm running around Dino. Hit that guy again in an instant. Dino hits Nulpudding, score +1. Successfully looted 1 point again. This made other people dare not rush forward carelessly. Interesting. Really fun. At this time, Rufus of the Swordbite Tiger also leapt to a building, lowered his head and pulled the hat on his head. I've remembered that none of you have a heartbeat, footsteps, or magical properties, Rufus said. When needed, the other people didn't understand it again. Why is he in such a high place, so conspicuous? Is it possible that he was a move similar to Dino? This is just like actively inviting the enemy to attack. Too arrogant. Same as that Dino. At the roof, Rufus placed his hands on his temples. The magic began to flow continuously. Memory modeling. Under the starry night sky. Brush. 7 magic beams leapt out. When needed, Rufus also refreshed the screen instantly. Lufor hits Gray, score +1. Lufor hits C. Leon, score +1. Rufus hits Beth, score +1. 6 points in a row also appeared at the first time, and immediately came to the second place. That's 1 point worse than the first place Dino. Late. I missed the man named Dino. So wouldn't I be 1 point behind forever? Rufus also murmured softly. Immediately use magic again. Since it falls behind, it can only be refreshed continuously. And over there, Dino closed his eyes again and began to cast magic. Countless people couldn't help but stunned. The scores of Dino and Rufus are also improving. Dino hits Leon, score +1. Rufus hits Gray, score +1. Dino hits Beth, score +1. Dino hit Rufus, score +1. The onlookers smacked their lips and said more than what to say. Hey, it doesn't make any sense. Only this Dino and Nuffa continued to increase the score of the 8 players, and the others don't even have time to react. It's a contest of magic power. Whoever can't hold it first will lose. The other contestants really had no competitive experience and were either hit or on the way to being hit. I don't know who will win in the end. Duang tilde. 30 minutes expired instantly. The high-rise buildings disappeared without a trace, and they were no longer seen. The first stage of the game also ended successfully. Time up. Now the ranking of the competition is announced. This ranking will not be announced when it hits the digital display, but only the ranking score. The scores for each ranking are 10 points, 8 points, 6 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point and 0 points. The rankings are as follows. First place, Fairy Tale Team B, 10 points. Second place, Tiger Sword Biting, 8 points. Third place, Big Crowtail, 6 points. Fourth place, Scales of Snake Princess, 4 points. Fifth, Mermaid Heel, 3 points. Number 6, Blue Pegasus, 2 points. Seventh, Quattro Cerberus, 1 point. 8th place, Fairy Tale Team A, 0 points. Only the first part of the competition is currently underway, and only the provisional rankings are announced. Each member goes back to their own team. Feel sorry. Gray headed back. Lucy scratched his head. It's okay, the game has just started. Team B is here. Allah, Dino is really good. Mira Jane greeted. Gagil and others are also looking at him, and Dino looked up and glanced at the few talents in front of him and said, do you see that? Although I am trying to attack other people, the big crow's tail and the sword-biting tiger are always targeting us, so I don't want to see you release water. This adjoining, stab, stab. Lagosas did not speak, but everyone is not blind. If other people play, the situation for their team will not be too good. Absolutely. Also the penultimate first and second are all occupied by them. Then I hope you all work hard in the fighting part. If you encounter the tiger biting sword and the tails of the crow, just let go and fight. Dino said. Close your eyes and sit back on the blanket to rest. He doesn't think that the second stage battle round has anything to do with him, and this possibility is very small. So also waiting for the announcement. The next thing is the battle part of the game. The players whose names are called please come to the front. The game continues. All our opponents waiting for the battle round. Part of the rules of the battle. The most popular players are selected from the 8 teams for ranking, and the ranking of AB, Zhao Li Zhao, CD will be divided into 2 duels. The duel table has also been sent to my hands. I hope that this time, a more interesting battle combination can be arranged. The referee continued to speak. The onlookers were also talking about it. Everyone has their own ideas, and the 5 members of the fairy tale team are also looking forward to it. The first battle has to be won with all your might. Erza gave an order with a solemn expression. The members all nodded heavily and took this very seriously, and hoped to modify the ranking of the team with good results through this battle. The first battle on the first day. Lucy Heartfilia from Fairy Tale Team A. The referee announces the officers. Lucy stared at him and clenched his fists. It's me. The referee continued. Fight Flare, owner of Crowtail. Blonde hair is. Both players looked at each other. The invisible war also collided quietly in the air in time. Chapter 128, Stars in the Sky. Lucy, let her see the results of your practice. If we can win, we still have a chance to catch up with other guilds. Oh, go and fly the opponent. The 3 members also gave strong support. Lucy took a deep breath, thinking of Wendy who was being drained of her magic power, and Grey who was constantly being targeted and clenched her fists. She was angry. Leave it to me. I will definitely win. After speaking, he also walked out, and quickly came to the center of the stage to look at the guy on the opposite side. On the high platform, Lucy is very motivated. The other party is Ivan's stinky guild. Teach them a hard lesson for me. The first generation. What's wrong with you? Mavis looked at the people in the opposite guild and asked, what is the purpose of that guild called Crowtail? Makarov responded immediately angrily, they must want to make a fool of us. It's so irritating. I hope their purpose is only this. The live report. Shambhatti also said, Mr. Yajima, the presidents of these 2 guilds seem to be father and son. Yeah. But since they are in different guilds, there is no distinction between father and son in the arena. Yajima responded. 760 Dino here. Lagosas also asked curiously, the woman named Lucy should be able to win, right? Although she is very weak. The opponent is not a strong enemy. Gajiel responded. Allah, Lucy will do. You think Dino? Mira Jane also responded, looking at Dino and waiting for his words. Then Dino shook his head. No, Lucy will definitely lose the game. The opponent really can't beat Lucy, but the opponent will definitely cheat. At that time, maybe they will figure it out with Wendy, and be humiliated by taking time out of magic. All of a sudden, Lagosas and the others looked unhappy. Although I feel that what Dino said is a bit too much, but thinking about the big crow's tail, they really might have done it. Grey has been constantly targeted before. It is indeed very possible that such a thing will happen now, so it is not impossible. In that case, Lucy must be made to admit defeat when he loses, but the opponent may not give that chance. Mira Jane worried. If that happens, it's really unwilling to see the ending. Don't worry, I will take action when the time comes. I won't interfere in the outcome, and I will give Lucy a chance to admit defeat in time. Dino spoke directly. He doesn't care whether he wins or loses, and the more he loses, the deeper the friction between the 2 guilds. But Dino couldn't let Lucy be madly abused by the other party. If it does happen at that time, it will also intervene in time, so that Lucy can admit defeat in time. Next, the entire arena will be used as a battlefield. Other players please move to the waiting room. The pumpkin man appeared and told the other players to leave. He waved again. The 2 contestants please come forward. Lucy and his opponent also stood in the middle of the field and looked at each other. The game time is 30 minutes. As long as the opponent can no longer fight within the game time, it is a victory. Then the first battle begins. When needed, at the beginning of the game, the 2 players immediately began to use their own magic to fight. The 2 fought back and forth. Lucy's opponent, who used the star records to open the door, was completely unable to parry. After that, you will come and see me. In the first round, a dizzying offensive and defensive battle was staged. Father-son guild showdown, battle between women. Both sides will not give in to each other. The live report Shambhatti also gave an emotional explanation. Fairy tale seems to have the upper hand. At this time, the flare of the crow's tail also controlled the hair to get into the ground. Lucy was alerting where the hair might be. Looking around, that flare tilted his head to think of the high platform where Makarov was. Lucy looked over and immediately noticed that there was a strand of red hair waving beside Aska. Aska, Lucy exclaimed quickly. That flare also immediately launched an attack to entangle Lucy and fall to the ground. Bka, don't make a sound. This is an order. Flare stared at Lucy's order. Even if you have a blonde hair, you should know the consequences of disobeying me, right? Flare said with a smile. Lucy gritted his teeth and spat out 2 words. Despicable. Fairy tale team B waiting room. Dino opened his eyes. Dino, you woke up? The opponent Lucy had just made a big show of power couldn't resist, but it doesn't know what happened. It seems that there is something unspeakable and can only be taught a lesson, Mira Jane said, and Dino nodded slightly and closed his eyes. The smallest fluctuation in the heart informs Lucy in the battle. Lucy mined silently. On the stage, Lucy, who could only be passively beaten, flashed his brain. Hearing the sound, he was stunned. Lucy, you can just let go and fight. Don't worry about the rest. The guy on the other side doesn't dare to attack Aska openly. There are guild members such as the first-generation Mavis, Makarov, etc. She doesn't dare to do it. The voice in my head echoed again. Immediately Lucy also instantly understood. Yes, this woman will definitely not dare to do anything, and someone as powerful as the president will definitely stop everything. Okay, Lucy murmured softly. Dodge random attacks and reach for the Gemini celestial spirit. Gemini, wow hoo. Gemini immediately appeared and rammed into Flare. Fly to Lucy's side again and stand by. Get ready for that trick. Lucy ordered immediately. I haven't mastered that trick yet, so I don't know if it will be successful. Gemini said. It doesn't matter, you first transform into me. Clear. Gemini said, and immediately appeared as Lucy wearing a bath towel. After seeing the other self, Lucy exclaimed, why are you dressed like this? No way, the last time I copied you, you were dressed like this. Gemini was helpless. Lucy sighed silently on his forehead. The people on the high platform were also talking about it. If that Gemini becomes Erza or Lagosas, wouldn't that be the strongest? No, Gemini can only copy people with similar magic power to the holder. What is Lucy going to do by turning himself into 2 people? People were discussing. Below, the 2 Lucys held hands and began to murmur. Measure the sky and open the sky, attract all the stars, gather all the rays of light, and appear in front of you. This is. Suddenly Levy and the others all stared. All the stars in the sky. I found it in the library of the celestial spirit world during the last special training, and it can be regarded as a kind of super magic given to Lucy by the celestial spirit king. Dino was talking. Originally, during the special training, Dino planned to gift this magic to Lucy. I just didn't expect that when I was on vacation in the celestial spirit world. I was also arranged by the celestial spirit king to teach Lucy's magic. There was indeed training during this time. Chapter 129, he even appeared again. What? A powerful magic, isn't that magic? This magic power is also unusual, definitely far beyond her before. I feel something is not right. This magic power is to prepare a big move. The audience watched. Below, Lucy also chanted a spell. 4 books. I am the ruler of all the stars. Open all the gates of desolation in all directions. All day 88 stars. Lucy blooms all over, countless rays of light. The entire sky was engulfed in stars, and the planets circulated around them one by one. Everyone was amazed by it. Consecration. All the stars in the sky. Just when everyone thought it was a super magic, the stars disappeared, and the move disappeared. Hey, the magic is gone. Lucy's body fell towards the bottom, and his eyes were full of unbearableness and doubts. The others all stared. What happened? The magic has disappeared. What the hell happened? Lucy's magic didn't work. Shambhatti, who was reporting live, also immediately asked, Mr. Yajima, what is this? Yajima also lowered his brows. Makarov's face darkened. Looking at the opposite guild, Ivan was also furious. Ivan, do you want to go to war? The magic power of the body can no longer be suppressed, and the never-before-seen anger is about to break through the brain and lose its sense. The game is over. The winner is Crotel's Flare owner. Declare victory. Da. Dino walked up the stage step by step and came to Lucy's side. Without saying a word, he hugged her to the princess and slowly stepped down, and he didn't say a word from beginning to end. But only a few people know. Dino couldn't help but explode. I'm sorry, Dino. In his arms, Lucy also cried and apologized. Dino put on a smile. Why do you want to apologize? You have become really strong. Whether you are opening double doors or saying that the stars in the sky are enough to represent your strength. But Lucy was about to speak. Dino stopped her. It's nothing but it's impossible. That big crowtail cheated, and a little thing rushed up to drain your magic power, otherwise it would be impossible to fail. Actually, I can stop it, Dino said again, but after thinking about it, I still haven't done it. I can send you a message to let you fight with your heart, but I can't continue to help. And I always thought it would be nice to stay last, wouldn't it? It would be very interesting to directly overtake it later. I think Natsu and the others think the same way. Come to the waiting room. Erza and others are also waiting here. Yeah, wouldn't it be super fun to think about being the last guild to overtake them later? Natsu smiled. Erza and Grey also nodded. Well, then, you must protect the reputation of our fairy tale. Under the comfort of everyone, Lucy no longer blamed herself. Although I know that you two are in a good relationship, isn't it a bit envious, jealous, and hateful to continue holding on like this? Grey also spoke at this time. Lucy reacted immediately, jumped out of Dino's arms, rubbed his hot face and lowered his head, not daring to look at him. And Dino smacked his lips. I said, Grey, you really don't deserve to be beaten. After speaking, he turned and left, returning to his team. Sweeping Lagosas and others also said, Mr. Gun is a substitute, so 80% is unlikely to take the stage, and I have just entered the first stage. It is reasonable to say that the possibility of appearing in this round of battle is very small. Therefore, I hope that the people who will be selected in a while will either quickly defeat the opponent to win, or take the initiative to admit defeat, so as not to delay everyone's time. Dino speaks ruthlessly. To tell the truth, he hopes that he will be in power, so that no matter who the opponent is, the battle can be ended as soon as possible. If you are lucky enough to come across the tiger of sword biting, it will be even better. Dino is really strict, but I'm still looking forward to it. Gagil grinned. Lagosas also refused. I'm not going to play today, I'm going to wait for the big crow's tail. Juvia will not disappoint Lord Dino. Alala, although I don't really like fighting, but for Dino's sake, let's move a little bit. Juvia and Mira Jane also responded in the affirmative. Listen to this. Dino took a deep breath and closed his eyes again. He still has a little bit of expectation, and it would be great if this game really puts him on stage. Although the possibility is very small. The game continues. With the passage of time, the second and third battles also ended quickly. Game 2, Lian of Blue Pegasus vs. Alania of Mermaid Sleep. Lian wins, plus 10 points. The third game, Vaculi of Quattro Cerberus fights Oruga of the Tiger of Sword Bite. Plus 10 points. For flowers. On site, countless people cheered in the lively venue. They all looked quite happy. Shambhatti, who was on the scene, also gave speeches and publicity. Today's last game is finally about to start, and the remaining two teams are Fairy Tail Team B, who rushed into the first place as a dark horse, and are Snake Scales. These two guilds used to be comparable in strength, so this match should be very interesting. Cool. Although many people look down on the Fairy Tailor team, the Fairy Tail B team still has a great reputation as the first place. Let's have a contestant who invites the scales of the Snake Princess by Arlenikis. Moment. Makarov and others on the high platform. The whole person's painting style changed instantly. How could it be him? Bial is a holy man. Only Lagosas, Gagil, Dino and Mr. Gun can fight against him in the B team, and Mr. Gun is a substitute. Only Lagosas, Dino and Mr. Gun are left. Gagil, ... 0. Dino is also unlikely. The first stage is Dino's appearance, and he should not be allowed to appear in the second game. The possibility of Lagosas appearing is also very small, and Gagil has a high probability of being defeated. The rest of Juvia and Mira Jane are definitely not good. Mira Jane doesn't like fighting. Hey, pray for Lagosas to show up. Everyone in the guild was praying. The aside also has great expectations for the B team that has not yet played. It can be a little unacceptable after hearing the contestants of the scale of the Snake Princess. This is not good. Juvia will definitely not be able to beat Aula. Mira Jane doesn't like to fight. 80% can't beat it. Mr. Gun is also a substitute. Erza said angrily, this is really a draw. Damn it. Why didn't you let me play? Natsu was very angry. The entire guild is full of shadows. Even ready to lose the game. Although he couldn't bear it, the fact was right in front of him, and he might really lose this time. And against Bella Nikosit's Fairy Tail Team B, all have expectations in their hearts. The members of the Fairy Tail Guild kept reciting the name Lagosas in their hearts, praying with hands clasped together. Raise your ears and listen to the upcoming candidates. Here's Dino. Uproar 0, Chapter 130. Dino, give you 3 chances. When needed, the whole venue could not help but wait for several kinds. The reactions of the major guilds were also different, and the players of the Scales of the Snake Princess also made their own speeches. For Dino, it shouldn't be a problem. It can even be said that this person is not very famous in the Fairy Tail Guild. Leon spoke with his arms crossed in front of him. Yuka swept Leon with his hands behind his back and added in time, did you forget about being beaten by him 7 years ago? That guy called Dino is definitely not easy. Tia also nodded in agreement. Mr. Dino's strength is definitely not to be underestimated. It is no less powerful than Saint Ten. Even I can't say that he will definitely win. Mr. Jura will definitely win. Toby barked too. Sherry didn't speak. She didn't know Dino. She didn't know Dino, and she didn't understand what was so scary about him. Over there, in the 760 team of Swordbite Tiger, Dino the guy's on the court again, and the magic that's going on is going to cost him the game, Sting said. Rogue shook his head in denial. Don't underestimate it. He said before that he also belongs to the Dragon Slayer, but he has never seen what kind of Dragon Slayer magic he has. Flo thinks so too. Sting and Rogue are the strongest. The two transcendent cats also spoke to themselves on another occasion. At the same time, everyone in the Fairy Tale Guild was relieved. Fortunately, Dino will definitely win if he plays, and his strength is much stronger than Jura. Makarov sighed. In the end, it was Dino who appeared. However, he was still a little worried, knowing that when Lucy was defeated, Dino's state was not very good. Hope he can show mercy. Oops, Dino is going to play again. Is this opponent Jura? It should be a very exciting battle. Kana was also curious. Anan, who was taken by Levi in his arms, blinked. Dino, I'm going to fight Nuo again. Anan whispered. Levi touched Anan's head and smiled. Don't worry Anan, Dino is super strong and will never lose the game. Over there, the hair on the head of the original Mavis also swayed from side to side. Dino, it's really amazing. Below, Fairy Tale Team A. I didn't expect that Dino would also appear in the battle phase. Erza was also very concerned after hearing the matchup list. Dino's strength is self-evident, but Dino didn't seem to be in good shape before. Hope it's a bit more wrist-trained. It's boring. Team B is going to be number 1 again. How can they lose even if Dino appears? Natsu is also a bit yin and yang. Yeah, if Dino was in our team, it wouldn't be so miserable. I'm afraid that Big Crowtail wouldn't even dare to cheat. Gray also came back from elsewhere. Although it is said that they lost a bit miserably, it is not so uncomfortable to think that Team B is the first place. Lucy is back too. Dino. She clenched her fists and waited for Dino to appear. Team B. Mira Jane's eyes were locked on Dino, who closed his eyes and rested. Suddenly, Dino suddenly opened his eyes, and those eyes were blood red. The magic power in the body will disappear in time. He got off the blanket and walked outside without saying a word. Sure enough, Dino's appearance is not worth seeing. Although the opponent is Holy Land, he is still a lot weaker. Lagosas murmured as he looked at Dino's background. Alabama, it looks like today's game will end soon. Mira Jane also responded that, to be honest, Dino didn't expect to lose when he played. The worry now is how long Najura will be able to hold on. Sir Dino, be sure to do your best. Juvia cheered. Geiji Lover was also grinning badly. Gel, pretending to be Mystican, had nothing to say. Dino comes out. How can this lose? He couldn't help but think of himself when he was hanged and beaten in Tower of Heaven, and he still felt a little pain in his body. Arena. Members of both sides came out of their respective teams. They are facing each other at a distance of 2 meters. Dino, sir, we haven't seen each other for a long time. Although I said that I didn't have much contact last time, your strength is definitely not weak. Our president's mother-in-law will not allow me to release water. Jura also spoke with her arms folded inside her wide sleeves. Dino took a deep breath. Lift 3 fingers. Because we are not enemies, I will be merciful and give you a chance to make 3 moves. I hope Mr. Barlakan sees it. Dino said. There was no way he could suppress his voice. At the same time, it is not intentionally enlarged. But under the loudspeaker, it was successfully heard by everyone in the audience. Hey, he's still so sharp. Makarov held his forehead and spoke in a speechless manner. If he didn't know how to restrain himself, he would be more iron-blooded. Otherwise, Dino would really be a candidate to become the president. He's too arrogant. He dares to say such a thing, and he doesn't take Saint Ten Jura seriously. The sword-biting Tiger Sting stared and gritted his teeth. Just being lucky enough to get the first place. Does this guy think we are all weak? This guy is really annoying. Oruga also spoke. The members of the Snake Fairy scale over there were also not very good. How dare this guy say such a thing? Mr. Failer is Holy Land. Leon's face was ugly. Woo, Mr. Jura can definitely beat him. Toby said. The other members were also very unhappy. Obviously think Dino's words are too much. And the whole audience also felt a little weird. What did he say? Let Saint Ten Jura make 3 moves? How can this guy be so arrogant? Doesn't he take Saint Ten seriously? That is to say, this fairy tale is really annoying. Team A is a bunch of rubbish, and Team B is a bunch of megalomaniacs. I'm just waiting to see him be defeated and embarrassed. Naive, this 0.0 called Dino is really saying something that makes people feel ridiculous. At the same time, Shambhatti, who was reporting live, also explained immediately. We see that Dino of Fairy Tale B team made a 3-stroke oath. Could it be that he will defeat Mr. Bella after 3 strokes? And what does Mr. Yajima think about this? Next to him, Yajima also sorted out his language response. It should be after 3 moves that the 2 talents will really compete. On sight, Tia didn't expect Dino to say such a thing. Immediately, I felt that I was underestimated, and my mood was somewhat subtle. It seems that Mr. Dino also looks down on my strength. Let's start. Dino took a deep breath and stepped back 2 steps before opening his mouth to let Jura attack. Since that's the case, let's be brazen and make the move first. Jura jumped back and pulled away. Chapter 131, The 3 moves are not hurt. He opened his hands left and right, and clasped them in front of him. I waited. When needed, a lot of rocks bulged on the left and right sides of the ground on which Dino stood, and his palms that turned into mountains suddenly slammed. Bang dash. It was like 2 big mountains colliding together, making a roaring sound. shaking the earth and the mountains. Everyone in the auditorium was shocked by the sound of the collision and quickly sat down and grabbed the armrest to prevent themselves from falling. They were all surprised by the huge power of this impact. At the same time, everyone was curious as to whether Dino, who suffered the blow alive, had lost his fighting power. Just hanging in the air, when you thought Dino was defeated, the closed giant palm was separated by a gap. The gap is getting bigger and bigger. Right in the center, Dino pushed his hands horizontally from side to side, and a man-height magic circle appeared in front of both palms and slowly circulated. The seemingly towering giant palm was pushed away alive. The blue veins on the bald head of the watch in front of him were smashed, and the folded hands were passively opened. The blushing face also made countless people understand. Under this blow, the watch is not as good as Dino. 16 inches wave dash. Dino's mouth closed up and down, spit out 2 words. I saw the fan-shaped triples released from both hands instantly, shattering the mountain. The gravel fell to the ground. The flat arena also formed a rugged environment. This first move was easily resolved by Dino. Powerful, too strong. Countless people couldn't help but have this thought in their minds. From the beginning to the end, Dino showed a casual attitude, but it was just so casual that he resolved Saint Ten Jura's moves. Even if you haven't figured out what kind of magic is being used. But this strength has won everyone's admiration and praise. The teams that see Dino as their enemy are in love, but they still can't see what magic Dino is using. The trick is over. There are 2 more tricks. Dino stepped forward calmly, waiting for Jura's second move. And the table pool did not dare to stop. A square rock suddenly swelled up under his feet, pushing himself up high, looking down at Dino on the ground. Go rock iron powder blast. Yingluck drank. The right thumb is folded, and the remaining 4 fingers and palm are again aligned with Dino on the ground. When needed, I saw that under Dino's forward footsteps, a rock tip as hard as steel pierced out, penetrating towards Dino. This move is extremely fast. Ordinary people have no time to react at all, and they will be pierced by this rock tip. But, who is Dino? With countless magic gathered around him, he is not afraid at all. The body swayed, and the rock tip slid across the front without piercing even a little bit of skin. But keep going. There are also a lot of rock tips, and every time they take a step, several rock tips can be pierced from the ground and stabbed. But every time, he was avoided by Dino, who was swaying around. It's so easy to make your scalp tingle. It's terrifying. It's really terrifying. This person is very casual from beginning to end. The tricks are dangerous, but they are still easily avoided by him. Rogue couldn't help shaking his head. He only felt a kind of fear. The feeling this Dino gave him made his body and mind tremble. Even knowing that the guy in front of him didn't use much force, it made him feel creepy. This kind of person is often very difficult to deal with. Now I want to know how strong this guy is. Oruga couldn't help shaking his head. The strength displayed from beginning to end is too puzzling. You say that he is very strong. He did not show any strength from beginning to end, and even the magic in his body was not very active. But what if you say he is weak? A wobbly walker will be able to avoid these sharply angled rock tips. All people think so. There is also an irresistible sense of powerlessness rising in their hearts, and this feeling of enriching their body and mind also makes them feel difficult. It seems that he can't walk steadily, but in fact, his body can evade attacks in time every time. How does it feel that Dino is countless times stronger than the previous 7 years? Makarov was embarrassed. Although 7 years have passed, he never thought that everyone had changed. Even Erza and the others are within their control. But this kid Dino, although he said that he was super strong 7 years ago, but for some reason, he feels that he is still relaxed 7 years ago. In the field, there is still time for the countless rock tips to disappear. Jura's move also failed to cause any effective damage after all. Looking at the dense rocky peaks, Dino, who passed by, also sighed in his heart. Still underestimating him. One last resort. Dino looked up at Tia La, who was standing high on the rock, and said the last word. This sentence is like the king of hell, always alerting him that he is about to fail. Overlord Rock Break. Immediately, Biaola clapped his hands together abruptly, and the magic poured out. The rolling rocks manifested and surrounded Dino, with layers of rocks mercilessly embedded in his body. Surround him into a giant sphere. Everyone in his guild, the scales of the Snake Princess, all looked overjoyed. Very good. This is Mr. Biala's most powerful magic, and even the other members of the Holy Ten have to avoid the edge for a while. Then Dino will definitely be beaten by this trick. Sherry's eyes bloomed with little stars, and he was excited to see the rock that enveloped Dino. Leon on his side also tightened his fists. He stared blankly at the 760 pieces of rock. It's definitely possible. Absolutely possible. Then it's impossible for Dino to have no damage at all. This move will definitely hit him hard. Congratulations, Mr. Bira is going to win. Toby also said. The onlookers were also excited and even blinked their eyes, looking at Dino, who was wrapped in rocks in the field. Excited, they all waited for the scarred Dino to show up. It's useless. On the high platform, Makarov shook his head regretfully. The Holy Ten, who is also a table pool, is indeed super strong, but it is still not enough to see in front of Dino. If you have high expectations, you will be hit hard. In the battlefield, Jura slammed her hands together again. Drink. Below, the big ball wrapped by the rock exploded instantly. A violent explosion occurred. Boom 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 dash. The rock kept exploding, and a person might have been shattered by the magic of the explosion. However, in the sound of the explosion, the huge sphere was also crisscrossed and decomposed into square slab-sized stones. Beak cracking, stones kept falling. Dino's figure reappeared. His clothes and style remain unchanged. The seemingly amazing explosion did not cause him any harm, not even his clothes were soiled. Chapter 132, Defeat Saint Ten Jura. How is this possible? This question pops into the minds of countless people. They didn't expect these three powerful moves in succession, and even Dino's clothes didn't get dirty. Is this young guy really that powerful? This guy's strength is far beyond what the world knows. Others are not of the same order of magnitude as him, and any moves in front of him are useless. The terrifying fairy tale hides such a terrifying fellow. So, isn't this guy far superior to Jura of the Holy Ten? How can this be fought? The audience exclaimed. So far, although Dino has not shown much strength, he is already super strong. They didn't even dare to imagine what the next battle would be like. Could it really be that he can instantly kill Jura of Saint Ten in an instant? Countless people thought of this possibility, but felt it was unlikely. At the same time, the people in the other guilds were also breaking out in cold sweats. Looking at Dino's eyes, they have already regarded him as a great enemy in life, and they have no way to compete with such an opponent. Fairy Tale Team B. Seeing that the three moves had ended, Lagoses turned around and walked outside. Where are you going, Lagoses? Mira Jane asked hurriedly. Gagel also grinned. The three moves have passed, and Dino will not give his opponent a chance. The battle is over. Juvia and Gel, who played Mystican, also looked at each other and didn't leave. They still want to see it again. Mira Jane also looked away. The whole audience began to watch carefully. There was a commotion all around. Three moves had passed, so it was time for Dino to make his move. Everyone locked their eyes on the field. Mr. Ferrer, the three moves are over. Dino stopped. The opposite Biaola also fell to the ground, with a hat on his face and nodded resignedly. Yeah, Mr. Dino's strength is far superior to the inferior, although he knows that he will lose, but passive beating is not the character of the inferior, accepting tricks. Mr. Dino. The voice fell, and Dino rushed to the ground. Najila immediately controlled the rock to attack Dino. Surprisingly, the rocks automatically deform and change direction before they reach Dino. Rock magic rock fist. Dino put his fingers together and slid forward. The ground turned into fists and attacked Jura. What? You even know rock magic? Jura was shocked, and immediately controlled the rock to slam it towards the opposite side. In the next second, control a large number of rock barriers to block Dino and him again, and use this to resist the attack. And Dino's speed not only did not decrease, but also increased again. Smashing magic smashing. Dino drank lightly again. The magic circle in front of him circulated, and immediately slammed against the rock walls one by one. As soon as the two collided, those walls were instantly shattered. Dino also passed through the rock that turned into dust when he came to Jura, and his right fist was about to strike. Well done. Table pulls to drink immediately. His hand slammed violently, and the surrounding of his body was instantly wrapped by flowing rocks. A mountain-like giant is formed overhead. Aoyama. The huge rock giant is like a reincarnation of the god of war, wrapping Jura. This is Jura's most powerful defensive magic. Can't be destroyed without a certain strength. In front of you. Dino's expression didn't change when he saw this huge rocky mountain. Retract your hands and pull your arms. A golden magic circle appeared on the left and right hands. Change the magic sword. Golden light bloomed in both hands, and in less than a second, he had already grasped a large black and red sharp knife. Place your hands laterally in front of the running eyes. A palm-length blade leaked out, and Dino quickly pulled it back. EAI/middle. Flying flowers. Clank. Brush dash. The knife was sheathed, and the huge rock and mountain on Biaola's body in front of him instantly cracked. The light of the knife flashed, and the stones were cut off alive. And Sora's black robe was also cut with a hole. What? When did Dogwang call? Jura is shocked. All he saw was that Dino took out his weapon and was putting the knife into the sheath, and he didn't see the blade slashing at all. But the holes in his clothes and the huge defensive rock warned him that he had been beheaded many times. This speed, it's faster than ever. Gravity magic. The blade flashed in Dino's hand, and the weapon disappeared again. The right hand and the palm face the sky. Pick up your fingertips slightly. When Jiangxi, Jura only felt that her body was out of control, and was repelled by a special force and flew up. Next second, Dino's eyes turned into dragons, and lightning arcs bloomed on his body. The chest is high drums. Two photos are brewing. Roar of thunder dragon. Stab la. The golden thunder and lightning jumped, forming a thunder arc beam aimed at the gravitational magic stirred in the air, and Jura roared away. The huge recoil also caused Dino's feet to sink in the ground on which he stood. Seeing that the attack speed was surprisingly fast, Sarah immediately manipulated the rocks on the ground to come for protection. But how could the fury of the thunder be resisted so easily? Jumping arcs of thunder shatter rocks, hit the body in an instant. Pro. He exclaimed in pain, and the black clothes on his body were even more tattered. However, Dino's attack from below struck again. Celestial magic Meteor. The body flickered, and in an instant, it came to the top of Biaola's head. The last resort, Dino murmured softly, and was immediately heard by the table. It was too late to think about it too much, so I would continue to use magic while controlling my body. But he was obviously thinking too much. The purpose of the previous Thunder Dragon's roar was not to hurt him, but to bring about a paralyzing effect after hitting him. This short period of time was enough for Dino to use a move to end the battle. The flame is burning. In the air around Dino's body began to distort, and the temperature in the entire venue rose. Many people wiped their sweat, of King's Owl, not understanding why the temperature suddenly increased. The Flame Dragon King's roar. The flames that were as red as blood were boiling, and there were traces of flames leaking from the corners of Dino's mouth, and their power was amazing, majestic. In Dino's mouth there is a flame of extinction brewing, roaring and spraying. The terrifying flame temperature will also burn everything around. The roar was like a giant dragon rushing towards Jura. Rumbling dash. The beam of light, mixed with Jura's figure, hit the ground. The ground exploded, tree-like cracks spread in all directions, and in the deep pit, Biaola's body was wrapped in rocks and fell heavily to the ground. The body is also scarred. The wounds of different sizes also spread all over the body, and the clothes have been burnt. Only some private parts of the body are left, and the other parts are tattered. Dino fell to the ground. The momentum of the whole body also directly converged, and the battle was over. He is waiting for the referee to declare victory. Chapter 133. The audience is in an uproar. Quiet, very quiet. It seemed like a long time, but it actually took more than 20 seconds from the start of Dino's attack to the end. The almost instant kill battle also made everyone present fail to react in time, and they looked at the field with shock and strangeness. This speed surprisingly fast. Moment. Countless people cried out in surprise. Too strong, this Dino can be so powerful. I didn't expect it to be pressed against the watch of the Holy Ten from beginning to end, and it didn't even take too much time. 20 seconds? No, not even 15 seconds. Exclamation mark. It's so terrifying. If anyone is an enemy of him, then this son must not be kept. Powerful. Simply too powerful. This strength really makes me speechless. How can such a powerful person appear? What the hell is going on in this world? Hey, the thought of other guilds and such a formidable rival is also terrifying. Everyone in the audience grabbed their hair and exclaimed, staring at the two people in the arena, and felt incredible. I have never seen such a powerful person before. They were shocked when Oruga of the Sword-Bite Tiger killed his opponent in seconds, but compared to now, this one called Dino is obviously more fierce. Countless people were amazed by the 760. Those guilds who were eliminated in the audition also breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that they would face such an opponent once they were promoted. They suddenly felt less uncomfortable. The referee also reacted immediately. The one who announced the victory to the audience, Fairy Tail Team B vs Snake Jizz Scale. The winner is Dino from Fairy Tail Team B. Back to God. The participating guild teams also came to their senses. The eyes looked surprised or complicated at Dino, who turned and walked towards the backstage. Sword-biting tiger. Damn, what the hell is going on with this guy? Do you know what magic he uses? Sting sweated coldly on his forehead. He never felt how powerful this Dino was. Even just now, the 3 moves to avoid Saint Ten Jura did not feel that there was any possibility of invincibility. But now he is really panicking. The strength that Dino showed also seemed to be far beyond what they thought. I see rock magic, smashing magic, celestial magic, dressing magic, fire dragon slayer magic, thunder dragon slayer magic. How can this guy have so much magic? Rogue sweat is also constantly flowing down. To be honest, he didn't expect this Dino to be so strong. Guru, I personally think the Fairy Tail team should be treated with respect. Oruga panicked. Originally, he was very arrogant, but now he is also bruised by Dino's powerful display. I don't even want to have too much conflict with him. Shut up. No matter how strong he is, our sword-biting tiger can definitely win. Sting drank it sharply. Their sword-biting tigers are the most powerful beings, and even if Dino is strong, they will never admit defeat easily. Although afraid, but they still mustered the courage to fight. Lamia scale. Mr. Jura lost the game. Sherry couldn't believe it. It can be thought that the power displayed by Dino seems to be very powerful indeed. Wang. Mr. Sheila will never lose. Toby also called out. Leon, also her cold sweat oozing from his forehead. Dino, who gritted his teeth and watched him leave, was also terrified. What the hell is going on with this guy's strength? How could he be so powerful? It's too unbelievable. Leon panicked. Seeing the strength that Dino showed also made him a little crazy. To be honest, he knew Dino was strong, but I never thought that I could kill Mr. Biaola in seconds. That's Jura. Biaola, the dignified and holy 10th, was bruised all over by a series of attacks. How can this be? However, facts speak louder than words, and the seemingly powerful Mr. Biaola was defeated. Fairy tale. It's amazing. Dino's strength is really strong, Anan. You can rest assured now. On the high platform, Levi touched Anan's little head and spoke. Anan nodded. Makarov next to him also smiled even more, and his heart was also very comfortable. Ha ha ha, Sino, this is the strength of our fairy tale. The powerful force scare you to death. Makarov was very nervous. Even the original Mavis over there was happy and apparently satisfied with the current state of the game. The referee continued to speak. So far, the first day of the Great Demon Fighting Martial Arts competition is over. The overall ranking for the first day is as follows. The ranking of the comprehensive scores on the first day also appeared in the air. The 8th place is undoubtedly the team of the Fairy Tailor team. It stands to reason that the audience will laugh after seeing this ranking, but in fact everyone is extremely quiet. Not so much why, just because of Dino. The power he showed was enough to make the audience dare not talk nonsense. 7th place, Quattro Cerberus, 1 point. 6th, Mermaid Heel, 3 points. 5th place, Scales of the Snake Princess, with a score of 4 points. 4th place, Blue Pegasus with 12 points. 3rd place, Big Crowtail with 16 points. 2nd place, Tiger Swordbite, with 18 points. 1st place, Fairy Tail Team B with 20 points. The game has only been going on for 1 day, and I hope to see a wonderful battle of the reversal later. Yajima said. Miss Jenny also spoke in time. Our guild also aims to be champions. The second day's competition is really exciting. Mr. Yajima, Miss Jenny, thank you very much today. See you tomorrow, everyone. Competition is over. All the staff also returned to their rooms. I got another full score. Although Team A's record is not good this time, there is still hope. I hope they can continue to play well. Mira Jane was also eating and talking to Lagosas and Dino and others in the house. There was also some concern in the words. Chi. If I play tomorrow, I will definitely get a full score back. Really, why don't you let me play? Gajiel was angrily drinking and was a little unhappy. And Juvia is full of happiness. Juvia doesn't matter, as long as Lord Dino always sleeps with me, no matter what kind of enemy, Juvia can bring down. I don't know what tomorrow's game will be. I hope it will be interesting. Lagosas also hiccuped back in his chair and closed his eyes. Dino, on the other hand, had already closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep, and did not understand their conversation. Even if there may not be much reaction. It's not too early, it's better to rest early for tomorrow's game, Mira Jane said and got up and walked out of the room to go to sleep. Chapter 134, Talk to the Future Lucy. The competitive part of the second day of Mo Dou Yanwu Chariot Fact Report. Shambhatti also analyzed the rules of the game. This race is about being careful not to fall off the attached chariot as you race to the finish line. Yajima added, this is no ordinary race. Cool. And as the guest of the second day is Mage Weekly, so Zara reporter Jason. Because the chariot under your feet is always moving, a crash may happen if you are not careful. Which team was the first to reach the final destination? Frau Dome. After walking through the tourist spots in Crickers, we will use the magic crystal to present the current state of the game to the audience and friends in the venue. On the screen, a group of people on the chariot in action are scattered and running. Live report. Shambhatti questioned. By the way, Mr. Yajima, who could have predicted that the game would develop like this? Hey, Yajima was speechless. The 4 players of Fairy Tail Team looked helpless. Why let Natsu play? Gray groaned while looking at Natsu. Lucy also sighed and was speechless. As soon as you hear the competition name of Chariot, you can expect this kind of competition. Generally speaking, Erza responded with a helpless expression. He has to play no matter what. He doesn't listen to persuasion at all. On the screen, at the back of the chariot are 3 figures. Natsu of Fairy Tail Team A, who is far behind the leading unit, is already in a state of disengagement. Live reports are also explained in a timely manner. Yeah, Natsu's wobbly body was about to vomit. Not only that, there's Gajiel from the Fairy Tail B team nearby, and even Sting from the Swordbite Tiger is in a state of disengagement. The fact sheet continued. Both Gajiel and Sting are bouncing around. Why do I? Gajiel wanted to speak, but couldn't say anything. The motion sickness constantly enriched his body and mind. The same is true for Sting. Team B is here. Dino took a breath and shook his head and covered his head. The same goes for Lagos. Mira Jane also had a smile on her face. Alalu, it seems that Gajiel has the same problem as Natsu. Mira Jane was amused. Lagosas had nothing to say, and obviously there was nothing he could do about it. What the hell is going on here, Mr. Yajima? These 3 people should have something in common. On the chariot, Gajiel gritted his teeth in disbelief. The star car should be Fire Dragon's fault. But what exactly is going on with this dizzy energy, and why he is in such a state, is too unbelievable. The onlookers also discussed it. What's going on? Why is Gajiel getting motion sickness too? Ponce Lily wondered. Don't steal Natsu's character traits, Happy complained. Levi also finds it strange, even the sword-biting tiger. There. Sang Yong's cat also spoke. This time, trouble. The only weakness of the Invincible Sting has been exposed. Flo thinks so too. The game continues. Motion sickness is a disaster for Dragon Slayer. Anyone who reaches a certain level of strength will get motion sickness. In the waiting room of Team B, Dino was talking even when he wasn't sleeping. Mira Jane, Lagosas and Dino also get motion sickness? Lagosas nodded. Don't tell anyone else. And Dino yawned. Unfortunately, I don't have this kind of small problem, So everyone on a rocking boat, I can hang up a group of dragon slayers. Dino shrugged. Yes, he also doesn't know why he doesn't get motion sickness. It may be some kind of unknown setting. Anyway, although he can dragon slayer, he never gets motion sickness. Continue to watch the game here. This part of the chariot is still nothing to watch. It's almost over in no time. At last. Sword Bite Tiger plus 0 points, Crow Tail plus 8 points, Scales of Snake Princess plus 4 points, Blue Pegasus plus 3 points, Mermaid Heel plus 6 points, Quattro Cerberus plus 10 points, Fairy Tail plus 2 points, Fairy Tail Team B plus 1 point. Combat part. The Fairy Tail A's also scored 10 points at Elfman's insistence. Then it was Mira Jane who also won. That's it for the second day's game. The third day of the game also ended. This day's game is also a very rare happiness for Makarov. The reason is naturally because Lagosas won against the entire Ducktail alone, and the Crowtail cheating was also successfully removed from the competition. This evening, all the people in the guild also laughed and talked happily. It's great, our guild is finally not the last one. The next step is to compete for the first and second place. This year we must take back the top two. Makarov drank the wine and blushed quite happily. Ha ha ha, Lagosas are good. The guild that violated the rules should kick them out. There is really no need for such people to survive. Yeah, both the A team and the B team are very strong. This year we were the strongest. The members of the guild cheered and jumped for joy. Dino, on the other hand, sat in a trance-like position with his chin resting on his back. Dino, why are you lacking energy? Why? Lucy also asked next to him. Maybe it's because of women. Why don't Dino go back with me? Let's play some adult stories. Kana also grinned. Dino, however, shook his head. No, I just feel a different magic in this city, and the air and sky seem to be sending some kind of message. Erza also thought of Gel's words after hearing this. Stepping forward involuntarily. Do you really feel the unusual magic? Is it similar to Zerov? Dino yawns. Maybe, but you don't have to worry. Those little problems are all right. Just leave them to me. After finishing speaking, Dino also got up and stretched out and walked out. Erza didn't ask too much. Cake serve. I rush. Warm. At this time, Natsu slid down the bar with a few bucket pads under him. Crowded. Somewhere on a shadowed roof. Dino landed lightly on the eaves, and below was a girl wrapped in a robe. Her eyes were looking at the meeting place of the Fairy Tail Guild members. Actually, Dino murmured softly. The girl in the robe below immediately turned around and pulled away. Only a pair of eyes leaked out, watching Dino sitting on the eaves very vigilantly. You are the mysterious powerhouse that suddenly appeared in Fairy Tail, the girl said in a muffled voice. Dino's eyes flickered. The mysterious powerhouse that suddenly appeared. Dino lost his mind and replied softly, sure enough, the future Fairy Tail really doesn't exist without me. The future Lucy. That's right. The girl in the robe in front of her is the future Lucy. Dino noticed her in the audience during today's game, and Dino was curious about the magic of different eras. This time I came here to ask whether the future Fairy Tail has him or not. But now it looks like it's gone. Who are you? In the future, Lucy did not expect that this mysterious powerhouse who suddenly appeared would be able to directly name his identity, and he was also nervous. According to the strength he showed, it would be easy to defeat himself. Dino fell down and walked to Lucy's side. With a very cheerful smile, he put his hand on the head of the future Lucy. After rubbing it, he also responded with tenderness, no matter who it is, what dragon, what disaster, I am here in this era, and there will never be the kind of predicament in the future. Future Lucy's body is stiff, a little hurried. Countless questions and doubts were not spoken. Why are you helping? She asked. Dino turned to leave. Because the Lucy of this era is my man, the Fairy Tail Guild of this era, I'm here. More saddle. Dino disappeared. 0. Chapter 135. The mere spatial attribute magic is very rare. Fourth day. Great Demon Fighting Martial Arts Arena. Hello everyone from the audience, I am very happy to see you again on the fourth day, and everyone is still enthusiastic today. After the first 3 days of competition, our Great Demon Fighting Martial Arts also entered the second half. Let's start by welcoming Mr. Ajima and our fourth day guest, Sayasaudo Head, Rabian. The live report Shambhatti also warmly welcomed everyone present with a microphone. The cheers went on and on. Countless people watched this game with great excitement, looking forward to seeing more interesting groupings today. Inside the arena, a huge water polo was also made directly, and it was filled with water flow. The referee publicized the rules of the game. In the competitive part of the naval battle, each team will send one player to participate. Players are out of the ball-shaped water arena. The one who stays to the end is the winner. After listening to 763 to the rules of this game, several members of the Fairy Tail Team B looked at each other. Since it's in the water, it's best for Juvia to play, Mira Jane suggested. There's nothing wrong with Lagosas and Gagel. Angel, who played Mystican, also left yesterday to track down the mysterious magic. Let me play today. Dino, who had no chance to play on the second and third days, also opened his eyes. Lagosas and Gagel over there were puzzled. But Dino, there doesn't seem to be any strong opponent to fight you in this game, Mira Jane said promptly. Juvia also nodded. Juvia also thinks it's more appropriate for me to play in this one. However, Dino shook his head. The one named Minerva in the Swordbite Tiger, her magic belongs to the space domain category, and Lagosas can't work in a small space, Dino said. After hearing this, everyone had no doubts. Seeing that Lagosas seemed to want to speak, Dino spoke in a timely manner. She can displace people outside the water polo. Unless it is a similar space magic, there is no way to get close to her. Lagosas closed his mouth. Mira Jane also found it difficult to deal with after listening to it, then let Dino go. The referee continues to announce supplementary rules. However, when there are ultimately only 2 players left on the field, a rule will be added to the game. It's called the 5-minute rule. The timer starts when there are only 2 players on the field, and the player who is out within 5 minutes will be the last player. The audience also found it very interesting after hearing the supplementary rules. One is very interested. Fact report Shambhatti also took over and said, "Okay, the 4th day of the competitive part of the game has started." Yajima also answered, "This match can also be described as water sumo." Rabian said with a smile, "It's really exciting, thank you very much." Now, players from each team are entering the water one after another. One by one, the members were successfully changed into the water. Lucy also had a firm look in her eyes. "I won't lose either. I must restore the image that I lost in front of everyone on the first day." Into the water. The next few teams all successfully entered the water. All that's left is the Fairy Tale Team B players. At this time, Dino also made a flash in the water polo. Seeing him appear in person also makes people think of the first day of battle. That mighty aura and unparalleled power. Damn it. Why is it him again? There is no one else in the Fairy Tale B team. The sword-biting tiger Sting also glared fiercely. Rogue next to him didn't look good either, but he still said, "It's fortunate that Miss Minerva is entering this time, otherwise we will definitely lose miserably." Who nodded. Yes, Miss Minerva's magic is enough to easily eliminate all enemies. At the same time, in water polo, Minerva also saw Dino who was entering the venue, with an even more smile on his face. "I didn't expect you to appear, but it's okay. It can let me have a good time." All members are ready. The rules of the game are very simple. If you get out of water polo you will lose, the referee announced. The naval battle begins now. Juang. The gong sounded, and everyone had to use their abilities. Lucy's side. "I'm going, everyone, I'm sorry." Open go. Aquarius door. Aquarius. Magic used. Dino also opened his eyes and stared at Minerva on the opposite side after feeling the water flowing around his body. Stab stab tilde. Lightning radiated from Dino's body. When necessary, the magic power that the sea water can't avoid is released. Lightning filled the entire water polo. The arc instantly increases its power, electrifying all members. The feeling of numbness is also transmitted to the body. Dino opened his mouth to take a deep breath, and a large amount of sea water poured into his mouth. The water flows like a whirlpool. Water dragons, roar. The sea water formed a huge tornado and rushed towards the opposite Minerva. Huh? Awesome. Seeing that Dino was the first to attack himself, Minerva immediately manipulated magic to separate the roar and attacked the other players. And Dino didn't read much at all. Control the current to rush towards mine. The purpose of his competition this time is very simple. It is for Minerva. The reason is because in memory, she ravaged Lucy. It's that simple. Attacking me was the worst decision you made. Minerva didn't care. The hands are like Tai Chi, turning up and down to control the surrounding space. You're out too. Minerva said that she also used magic. But next second, the sprinting Dino wasn't affected by that space at all. He stretched out his hand and directly pinched Minerva's neck and looked at her quietly. His eyes were very cold. Cough. Why won't you be affected? Minerva grabbed Dino's arm and struggled, her eyes full of disbelief. Do you think mere spatial attribute magic is rare? Dino satire. The hair, arms, and body are all flashing with lightning, which is continuously transmitted through the current, and all members are paralyzed by the electric body and unable to fight. It hasn't been a day or two for you, the tiger that bites the sword, to target us with fairy tale. I will kill you today. No, I want your guilt to feel what it means to be hopeless. Dino said. The lightning disappeared from his body, and the original plan was abandoned. He raised his hand and grabbed it, and a sharp sword appeared in the palm of his hand and aimed at Minerva's stomach. Stop! Our sword-biting tiger admits defeat. Sting of the tiger of sword-bite below immediately shouted into the air. Dino, stop it! Our sword-biting tigers admit defeat. Don't touch our eldest lady. Sting said. Despite the anger in his eyes, he endured it. He couldn't watch Minerva being attacked. If you go any further, something will happen. Referee this should be against the rules. When Dino released, Nyeba swept the sword-biting tiger with a smile and looked at the referee. Chapter 136, Kill a few dragons and try to feel it. The pumpkin referee is also in a dilemma. It stands to reason that there can be such regulations, but the specifics still depend on the wishes of the contestants. Unnecessary. Minerva immediately denied it, and looked at Dino with a very cold look. Minerva, you can't beat him. Sting wasn't convinced, but it was the truth. I said, No. Minerva stared at Sting's tone a lot harder. Sting had to shut up. The pumpkin referee also ordered again immediately. Then the game continues. A time. This little episode also passed quickly. The audience continued to watch the game, and everyone in the water polo continued to fight. I must tear you apart today, Minerva said, pulling her hands magically. Ginger time. The other players were knocked out instantly, leaving only Dino and Minerva in the entire water polo. Since you have a tendency to be abused, then I will satisfy you. Of course Dino had no problem. Dress-up magic flashed, and a large black-red knife appeared in his hand. The figure disappeared. The blade slid across Minerva's arm in a dry white light. Fresh blood flowed out and dissipated in the water. Many people think that this is just the end, but in fact this is just the beginning. Immediately after, Dino's figure kept flashing back and forth in the water, and the pure water ball was slowly turning a lot of blood red. There were only screams in the entire water polo. It was Minerva's scream, and her body was covered in scars. A series of scars spread all over her white arm, bringing a series of wounds. Peng dash. Dino still didn't kill Minerva on purpose, after seeing her losing too much blood. He kicked out the water polo. The entire sword-bite tiger won the last place. Miss Sting and others rushed forward immediately to check her injuries. After seeing the scars, he also tightened his fists and looked at Dino, who came out of the water polo with resentment. Angry? Want to kill me? Dino also asked Minerva, who had fainted from excessive blood loss on the ground. Then Sting and Rogue couldn't help but come forward. The weak don't deserve to be in your guild, and only your guild abides by this kind of garbage theory. I wonder if Minerva is so weak now, should she be expelled? And your two cats, so weak, why not kill it? Tiger of sword biting. It's just a clown. Dino pulls his hatred hard, turning around and waving. You two are too weak, let Natsu teach you a lesson. Down. The whole place was extremely quiet. They also reflected on Dino's words just now. Some people agree with it very much, and some people disagree with it. But most people have no idea. This water competition also ended with Dino winning the first place. Waiting room. Dino, it's a bit too much this time. Mira Jane couldn't bear it. Lagosas also blamed. You kid is too cruel. If you win, it will end as soon as possible. It is useless to waste so much time. Dino yawns. He took out the blanket and sat up and muttered to leave. This game is really boring. You can play the next game by yourself. I'm leaving. See you at Magnolia. After speaking, he disappeared without knowing where to go. Lagosas and others also sighed and accepted it reluctantly. Competitive game is over. Makarov also greeted two teams to come. Why isn't Dino here? Makarov also looked at Lagosas suspiciously. Mira Jane responded with a smile. Dino said the game was boring. He voluntarily retired, and he went back to Magnolia. Immediately, everyone in the house was a little weird. But after thinking about it, it seems to be normal. After all, those opponents are really difficult for Dino to take seriously. Hey, Makarov also sighed. He still didn't care. I just received an order from the operator to merge our A and B teams together. Makarov said. The people of both teams were very different. What? Natsu looked unhappy. Lagosas also frowned. Merge the AB team? Why do that? Mira Jane wondered. President Makarov also explained to the two teams, because of the qualifications for the Crowtail Zombie competition, the participating teams have become 7 teams. Such an odd number is inconvenient for the grouping of the battle part. So they asked us to merge the two teams into one and regroup into a 5-man squad. Mo Lulu next to him asked, how to calculate the score? Makarov responded, it seems to be based on the team with the lowest score, which is 35 points for Team A. Although Erza over there was a little unconvinced, he still agreed. But, hey, since this is the operator's request, it can only be complied with. Kana just didn't care. It's okay, if we think about it from another angle, we can also form the strongest team. Then the words came out. Immediately, Juvia, Gray, Lucy and others all looked at Kana strangely. Why? Kana didn't understand. Makarov also said a little frantically, Dino has left on his own accord. He is the strongest player in the contest. Everyone felt a little sorry. In the arena, the 2-on-2 of the fighting part has begun. Natsu and Jiru were also tyrannized by Sting, who turned on the power of the dragon. The guild and others watching the battle on the high platform were also a little angry. Damn it, it's all Dino's fault. Why did he run away? If he was here, where would those two stinkins be so arrogant? Makarov was very depressed. Although Dino's fight against the sword-bite tiger in water polo is a bit too much, but he still planned to let Dino participate in the combined by 763 game, but the guy ran away. Otherwise Sangyong would be vulnerable. Hey, where the hell did Dino go? Shouldn't he really go back? Kana is also depressed about drinking. She couldn't compete. She wanted to hang out with Dino, but the guy was gone. Lucy is also in a bad mood. Why does he feel depressed everywhere? Levi then muttered softly. Auditorium. In a secret place, the future Lucy wrapped in black robes looked at Natsu on stage and burst into tears. Hey, look at you, cry at every turn. Although the future is very hard, it will change soon. Beside, Dino in the grey robe and had stood beside him. In the future, Lucy knew who was coming, and sobbed and wiped his tears. But Dino yawns. Don't be, someone found you. Let's withdraw first. Since I said I want to help you, I will definitely help you too. In the future, Lucy's whereabouts are actually very easy for Dino to find. And the reason he told Lagos as they said he had returned to Magnolia was because it might be inconvenient to show up in person after the battle. So I did it on purpose. When the time comes, you can also let go and fight and kill a few dragons to try your hand. Now he is also waiting for that time. Chapter 137, Dragon's Tomb.Future Lucy wiped away tears. Follow Dino and disappear into the arena. After sending Future Lucy to safety, Dino yawned again and loitered. He didn't know what to do either. Hang out anyway. Just walking around like this, Dino walked into a tunnel. Gaijil, what the hell is going on here? Don't ask, just follow quietly. Why did you only call us here? Gaijil, Natsu, and Wendy walked at the front and talked. Is it related to Dragon Slayer? Maybe. Having said that, the people watching the fun also followed. Happy, Ponslia and Carla followed. The last one is Gray and Lucy. Who are you talking about? Because we care a lot. Several people stepped forward, and soon Gaijil stopped. Arrive. Okay. Natsu was a little curious. Immediately, Wendy immediately noticed something abnormal. This is? Gray was also curious. What is that? Scanning the huge skeleton in front of him, Lucy said with certainty. The limb bones of animals. Huge skeletons were scattered all around. That huge skeleton didn't look like an ordinary animal skeleton at all. Keel. Dino came out from behind a skeleton. This is a dragon's tomb in a sense. Dino, why are you here? You say these are dragon bones? Everyone was shocked. They swept the skeleton of this dragon and dared not imagine what accident happened here. So many keels. Shouldn't ignore. Happy to speak. Dino shook his head in denial. Your dragon is not here. Your dragon disappeared for 14 years. He stretched out his finger and pointed at the keel in front of him and said with a melancholy expression, and the dragons that sleep here, their remains are even older. Although I already know what happened here, I think you should see it for yourself. Dino said, looked at Wendy and said, Wendy should know that there is a trick in Sky Dragon Slayer's magic Dragon Slayer that can be connected to the dragon soul and listen to the sound of the dragon soul. Wendy also nodded uncertainly. I thought it was some kind of attack magic. It looks like that should be the case now. Dino yawned and reached out for a while and a magic circle appeared around Wendy's feet. Let's start. Wendy swept the magic circle to make sure it was alright and started to use magic. Dragon soul wandering here, let me listen to your voice. Galaxy dash. The magic circle burst out with radiant rays of light, illuminating the entire cave. The galaxy-like sea of stars appeared above his head. Wendy concentrates on finding the dragon soul. The bones are shaking, the light is reuniting. Soon, a huge dragon soul appeared. Roar. The dragon's roar was deafening. Let Gaiji let all bracket the eardrum. Lucy hides behind Dino extremely. Sure enough, there is no harsh sound behind Dino. Ahahaha tilde. The expressions of human beings when they are frightened are funny whenever they look at them. That dragon soul is very funny. And it's Arash. My name is Kilkanes, also known as the Emerald Dragon. It actually awakened my soul, using the magic of Danlong. Where is the man who performed the magic? The Emerald Dragon was also chattering, and soon saw Wendy sitting in the magic circle. He tilted his head and looked at Wendy. So cute. Was this little dragon slayer the one who woke me up? Natsu felt a little noisy behind him. Hey, stay away from Wendy for me. Soon, the people on both sides started talking. For a long time, the Emerald Dragon still failed to last until the end and disappeared before his eyes. Always feel like I know something amazing. Gray grumbled, scratching his head. Lucy complained, this is too amazing. Natsu and Gaiji over there are also in a tangle. Does it really turn into a dragon after overusing Dragon Slayer magic? Natsu wondered. Gaiji also sighed, that's really nerve-wracking. Dino, who was leaning next to him, also yawned after hearing this, and swept across the passage where they came and someone was approaching. The body has been turned into a gust of wind and disappeared in front of him. In order to continue the plan, Lucy had to be caught in the cell. Both Lucy and Yukino are closed here. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Yukino curled up, huddled in the corner a little quiet. I'm really a broom star. Over there, Lucy also turned his head and smiled. What nonsense are you talking about? If you have time to be depressed, you might as well think of a way to escape. Lord Lucy. Phew. A gust of wind blows. Dino's figure also appeared in the cell. Dino, you are here. Take us out of here quickly. Lucy jumped over happily immediately, pulled Dino and asked him to let him out. Dino rolled his eyes. I can't let you out for the time being, and the plan of the Eclipse Gate will continue to be implemented. Dino said. Lucy was curious. Dino, do you know if this Eclipse Gate plan is real or fake? She asked. So over there didn't speak. She knew that the person in front of her was very mysterious and quite powerful, and neither the Tiger of Swordbite nor other guild members could beat him. Zhao Wang Hao. Dino wrinkled his face. It's true or false. So far it is possible to continue, but when the door is opened, something will be released, but this is all in a controllable stage. Lucy's words will be fine. Of waiting. Whatever happens, I will arrange it properly. What about the game? Lucy asked hurriedly. Don't worry, someone will play for you. After Dino finished speaking, he disappeared again. Lucy also remained silent. No longer anxious to plan escape, but thinking about the plan of the so-called Eclipse Gate, it seems that I can't count on Dino anymore, but I still have to save myself. If the king's army has any malicious intentions, it will not be good for me. Lucy sat on the ground with his legs up and thought about changing. But I can't think of any solution at all. Damn it, Dino. Chapter 138, The First Generation. You have turned bad. July 5th, the day before the great demon fight, Makarov, Natsu, and others gathered here. What did you say? Lucy was captured by the royal soldiers? Just because she was related to an unknown plan? Makarov hid a dull old face, looking at Natsu grey with wide eyes. Several people couldn't believe it. In other words, if we didn't win the great demon fight, wouldn't they plan to let Lucy come back? Lagosas folded his arms and repeated the words. It's too early to tell if what they're saying is credible. Gray was also unhappy. After all, this happened in person, and there is no way to shirk it. So leave that alone. I'm going to save Lucy now, before Dino comes back, or he'll pick me up. Natsu was swaying as he was trapped on the wooden post. I kept thinking about trying to rescue Lucy, especially when I thought Dino would blame him for not protecting Lucy well. The other party is the royal army. We can't act hastily with them, and we shouldn't dispose of the citizens casually. Are they going to hold Lucy hostage until the Eclipse Gate project is aborted? Makarov sat cross-legged on the table. His right hand was also analyzing. Gajiel thought back to 767, but I still can't figure it out. We know the state's secrets. Why did they let us go? They let us go, probably so that we can testify when he convict the man named Lucardios in the future. But aren't they afraid that we will leak the information? Could it be that they feel that they are sure they can't hide it? If we are all arrested, then the information will not be leaked. That's not necessarily true. Gray and you are the contestants of the great demon fight. If you suddenly can't play tomorrow, it will definitely attract people's attention to investigate the matter. Mira Jane and others also inferred this matter in their respective speeches. Among them, the statement of not being able to perform in the great demon fight is the most convincing, while others are not so sure. If Dino knew I got Lucy off, he would hit me. Natsu roared and broke free from the rope. As he spoke, he rushed out, intending to rush to save people. Give me quiet. The back of Makarov's hand became bigger and the bastard Natsu also said, the family was taken away. We can't be in the mood to enjoy the festival. Our mood is the same as yours. Makarov looked serious. Love the eyebrows looking at the tall castle outside the window. This time, we can't rush over recklessly as in the past. After all, this time the opponent is not easy to deal with. However, we in Fairy Tale aren't timid enough to sit still. After thinking for a long time, I stood up, looking up at the place where there is no one in the sky and shouting, Dino, Dino. The sound penetrated the entire room and spread around, causing many people to raise their heads in confusion. Don't understand what happened. Everyone in front of them looked up and looked around, wanting to see where Dino was. Dino is going to be pissed. Natsu, on the other hand, moved towards Erza with a look of impatience, and only Erza could comfort him at this moment. Old man, what's your name? Ripples in the air. A gust of breeze blew, and Dino's weak eyelids lifted slightly and he was a little speechless. Dino, I didn't lose Lucy. There is a place in the castle where the magic can be disabled, otherwise we wouldn't let Lucy get caught. Natsu jumped out immediately and pushed all his responsibilities away. His eyes were timid as if afraid of something. Lucy, I went to see her, and she's still resting in prison for the time being. Dino didn't blame Natsu. The main thing is that all this will be carried out only if he is willing to let it continue. Otherwise, Lucy would have been taken out long ago. It seems you already know this Eclipse Gate, Makarov asked. Don't know when it started. Many questions that are not understood and a little strange. Will also listen to Dino's opinion. I also agree with a good point. Bgah, I also forgot the specifics. It seems to be opening a channel, but there are people behind this matter. It may be a few real dragons that came out of the Eclipse Gate in the end, but the problem is not too big. Dino didn't hide it either. In fact, when Makarov knew about Sirius Island, after Yan Shenlong was changed by him, Dino basically wouldn't sell himself in front of Makarov. If there is any problem, it will be reported in a timely manner. Dragon? True dragon. Grandini exclamation mark. The three of Gajiel also answered immediately, their eyes flashing, and they seemed to want to wait for Dino's next words. Originally, this matter can be avoided, but I personally still hope to continue, mainly because I promise others. I can't say whether to do it or not. Dino responded. After hearing the words here, Makarov also fell into deep thought. Then split up, Natsu and Mirojane, Wendy, and Pon slowly, Happy and Carla, and you go rescue Lucy. Makarov arranged. Looking at Dino again, he said again, Dino, you and Lagosas, Erza, Gray, Gajiel participate in the final game to win the championship. Break one by one. This time, many people gasped. Lagosas and Gajiel also had weird expressions on their faces. If Dino had to play in person, it seemed like he wouldn't have to play. No. Dino shook his head immediately after hearing that. With a serious look on his face, he replied, forgive me, this final stage of the great demon fight is really meaningless. I will go and push the kingdom army away by myself and bring Lucy back. Let him go to the big devil fight. This is not to let him slap his face, just said the day before that he has no interest in this so-called competition and wants to leave. It really hurts to let him play now. You can't go. You still need your help in the final stage of this great demon fight. At this time, the original Mavis also walked in from the outside and answered. Everyone looked at it. Mavis also began to give answers. First of all, I have studied the final fight, and it is true that only 5 of Natsu and the others can, but it is not enough. We want to make sure that the first place is in our hands. Then you have to play. And you are also the most powerful player in the competition. Listen to this. Dino looked troubled. Just as he was about to refuse, the original Mavis also whispered into his ear with a smile in his eyes, if you don't agree, I'll tell Natsu that you can become a dragon. Dino's face was full of lovelessness. Tell Natsu? Then I was pestered by Natsu every day and asked if I had seen Ignil. Joke. How could Dino be haunted by Natsu every day? First generation, you've turned bad. The original Mavis, who swept his eyes complainingly, was also unable to complain. The original Mavis nodded shamelessly. The dumb hair above was also swaying back and forth, which seems to agree with Dino's statement. Hey, okay, I'll just participate. Dino agreed anyway. There is still a little time before the door of the eclipse is opened, so it's okay to play. Just enough to teach Sabertooth a good lesson. Chapter 139, The Last Battle of the Great Demon. Fighting and martial arts begins one by one. Peng, broken. Fireworks burst into the air, forming a perfect-looking pattern. The whole arena was very lively. Countless spectators held up all kinds of support in their hands. The props were full of laughter. July 6th, the last day of the great demon fight. It's finally here. A memorial that makes the mages passionate. The last day of the great demon fighting martial arts has finally come. Whether crying or laughing, the winning guild will be decided today. The audience cheered louder than high. Shambhatti, who was reporting live, also took the microphone and introduced it to the people around him. It's still me, Shambhatti, who was in charge of the live coverage. The commentator was Mr. Yajima, a former commentator. Shambhatti made the introduction, and finally looked at the last guest. The guest we invited this time turned out to be the official mascot of DA Mo Dou Yanwu. A pumpkin with a pumpkin head also says hello. Shambhatti added, Mato-jun, can you not be the referee today? Mato-kun responded, it's okay today, Pumpkin. Everyone, cheer up, Pumpkin. Competitors enter. Shambhatti, who is a live report, also quickly entered his own state. Are there going to be a big comeback for the number 6 team now? Therefore puppies renamed from hounds to puppies. The 5 members roared out of the passage like hounds and appeared in everyone's eye sockets. Next it's Blue Pegasus, Scales, Mermaid Heel. Immediately afterwards, the members of the 3 teams also walked out directly. Subsequently, cheers shouted, and the second-placed sword-biting tiger also walked out of the passage in harmonious relationship. Shambhatti continued, the team that is currently ranked number 1 is the last to play. It was called the strongest guild 7 years ago. Can today be the day when they return to the top? In the channel, Erza walked to the forefront wearing a Sakura-printed kimono. To the left and right are Grey and Gageel. Behind it is the tall figure of Lagosas, and behind the figure of Gundam leaks a figure screaming again and again. He is. No, oh my god, what we didn't expect was that Dino, who became the strongest wizard after only 3 appearances, actually appeared again. This time he was also walking around as if he didn't wake up. But this figure definitely impresses all the mages in the audience. Dino. Shambhatti roared at the people around him with rhythm. All the guild members' faces darkened. Yes, the power that Dino showed was very strong, and it pressed this big stone to everyone's heart. And the one who left was Natsu, who played so well in a 2-man match, which we couldn't believe. Shambhatti said. On the high platform, Makarov and the others all stood there smiling and cheering for the people below. Grey, bring out your manliness. Dino, you must do your best to defeat all enemies. Lagosas, let's see your heroism. Everyone cheered. Below, everyone is ready, and the game is about to start. Show your strength. Magic and bond with your comrades. The final battle of the great demon fighting and martial arts. The battle of all members starts now. The start of the gong sounded. The entire team was scattered throughout Krako's city. The battle site this time is the entire city. If you encounter a member of an enemy guild while operating in the city, the 2 sides will fight. If you star the opponent or make it impossible to continue fighting, you will earn 1 point from the opponent's guild. Each team will elect 1 person to be the captain. Each guild does not know who the captains of other guilds are. 5 points for defeating the captain. Recalling the rules of the game, Dino also raised his arms and stretched. Sweeping around the city, he also murmured, I hope this time I can move my body a little bit, otherwise it will be too boring. Dino sat on the ground after yawning. The magic cards that were taken out from the body also began to be placed on the ground. The 4 of you just follow the arrangement of the first generation, and I'll go and get rid of those dangerous characters first. Dino said. Yes, although Dino their strength is very strong, but the first generation of Mavis still made a plan for them, and Dino also shouldered the heavy responsibility. He's mostly responsible for fighting tough characters. Ask for flowers. Oh, and Gagil and Erza and other 4 people obeyed orders. Then let me see who is the luckiest little cutie, Dino said. Reaching out a hand, a card appeared with a silhouette pattern printed on it. A face that is not easy to mess with. There is a row of origins under the eyes, the head is black hair, and the back of the head has a white cloth wrapped into a small ball. There is also a wine gourd hanging from his waist. He is Bacchus, known as the Drunk Eagle. The 4 Night Hunters are not the S-rank mage of the 4 Puppies Guild. You're really not lucky. Dino stretched out his hand, the cards were gathered, and he closed his eyes to listen to the position of Bacchus. There's action. Fairy Tale's strongest magician, Dino, put away the cards, and it looks like he's about to start moving. Shambhatti also shouted at the top of his voice. All the audience watched. When needed, just as the audience's eyes fell, a burst of dust drifted where Dino was standing. Dino's figure has disappeared. At the moment Bacchus is drinking and he is looking for enemies. Suddenly, a man with a big sharp knife appeared in his reach. It was Dino. At this moment, he was still muttering to himself. Moonless flow, Garuda flame. Dino walked forward with a big sharp knife in his hand. His knife was already out. Step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Puff this one. Woohoo. The blaze wife burned, drowning the entire body of Bacchus in the billowing flames. The towering fire column poured into the sky. The flames dissipated. Bacchus had fallen to the ground, and even to the point of elimination he didn't know how he was defeated. No moon flow. It originally belonged to the ability of the turtle dove who played the piano for Dino at home. In the past 7 years, Dino has also been tempered frequently. Some uncommon, but very powerful magics have also been practiced many times, so Dino's magic power didn't improve much. But his fighting experience and strong fighting instinct can be better used. It doesn't take much time to deal with an S-rank wizard. Bacchus. Dino beats Bacchus, score +5. The prompt flashed. It also brought back many people who were still stunned. 0. Chapter 140, Those who do not call their names are aliens. Fantastic. Fairy Tale's Dino is too strong. In just an instant, Dino disappeared from their team, and when he appeared, he was already behind Bacchus, the captain of the 4 puppies. He has already made a move, or the speed of his move is too fast. We didn't even see it, and we already defeated Bacchus, known as the Drunk Eagle, and scored 5 points in an instant. Fact report. Shambhatti also stood up from his position with passion, holding the microphone to all the audience propagandists at the scene, bragging about Dino's strength and the battle of the 4 puppies. The audience also noticed Dino at this time. Everyone screamed in surprise. It's too powerful. This Dino is definitely the most powerful, and Jura, who is known as a saint, is not an opponent. You can imagine what the next battle will be like. No solution. No one can beat Dino, who is super strong and has no solution. Only a siege will do. 767. When needed. Cheers also abounded in the audience. Everyone is admiring the power of Dino. On the high platform, Makarov was also high-spirited. Ha ha ha, take a good look at it. This is the strength of our fairy tale. Ha ha. The others laughed and waved their arms to cheer on Dino. And the dull hair on the head of the original Mavis is also shaking, and it can be seen that she is also very happy at the moment. However, what is Gagil doing? Why don't you understand? Go and defeat the enemy now. Only in this way can you get a higher score. Makarov said angrily when he saw where the other 4 were standing. The prey has to start as soon as possible. You guys hurry up. What are you doing standing there, rushing out to get on? The people of the guild also shouted at Gagil and others. And this time, the original Mavis stood up. That's good. After the 4-day competition, I remember the enemy's combat effectiveness, magical psychological activities, and law of action in my mind, and calculated it, simulating hundreds of millions of tactics. Saying that, Mavis also swears firmly, I will definitely lead my comrades to victory. This is my battle. He stood up and waved his hand and ordered, start the fairy star battle plan. Next moment, the 4 people who were standing still immediately moved, spread out and rush out in different directions. Below, Dino is now sitting on the ground again. The cards in his hand are also being washed. After feeling the order of the original Mavis, Dino no longer delays time. Since the first generation plan has already started, then I can't continue to delay it, Dino murmured and reached out to open a card. There was a man with brown hair and a slightly obscene appearance on it, a short man of the same height and length. One night. Your luck seems to have ended here. After Dino's voice fell, the figure disappeared again. When it comes again, has appeared in a battlefield, and at this moment Dino has 2 people in front of him. One of them is naturally Dino's target at the moment, Yakaya Vandalay Kotobuki, and the other is Dino's opponent and stands the other knight is Birakis. At this time the 2 are about to fight. After sensing Dino's arrival, they stopped each other's attacks. Mr. Dino, we meet again. Jura was also displeased at the sudden appearance of Dino. With his own strength in a single round, he cannot defeat Dino, and now there are 2 paths. Of course, escape. He has seen the strength of Dino, and it is very troublesome to continue to fight. The other one is union. Men unusual Mr. Perfume Dino. I didn't feel at all overnight that he was completely a fragrant touch at this moment. He continued to pose and say hello. I didn't expect the two of them to be there for the kiss. This will save you a lot of worry. Dino grinned. Mr. Overnight, it looks like we need to join forces, otherwise not only will you be out, but so will I. Jura knew Dino was going to do it. Start a cooperation with Yi immediately, no matter how you eliminate Dino first. Mr. Dino sees my smile. Man, Yi said. The next second, another scent hits. It poured into Dino's mouth and nose, and for a while Dino felt that his whole body was weak and wanted to lose his fighting spirit. Multiple pillars of rain. Jura immediately pointed her fingers together at Dino. A row of rock pillars rushing out of the ground and aiming at Dino is an attack. Bang 1. The column rain fell on Dino's body. With outstanding power, we can see that Mr. Yingluck and Mr. One Night join forces to attack Dino. Can they succeed? Fact report. Shambhatti also immediately commented. The smoke disappeared. Dino was no longer where he had been hit by the rain. It's great. I didn't get attacked, and it seems that Dino won't be easy to take down by Biao and One Night's union. Shambhatti is responsible for answering. Jura and Yi were a little confused. Man obviously caught the scent of my loss of fighting spirit, but it's still fine. How did this happen? Man said overnight. I want to know too. Sarah doesn't know why. I thought I could use a night of perfume to get rid of Dino in one go. It doesn't seem so easy now. Opposite, behind Xiuyu, Dino yawned, reached out and took out the same perfume bottle as One Night. A Catilda. Dino sneezes after opening the bottle to inhale the gas. Rubbed his nose and complained. Sure enough, perfume is still not suitable for me. What? Looking at the bottle in Dino's hand in shock all night. I can't believe it. Man, Dino can even smell magic. Man, my moves are useless. She responded by changing her style overnight. The same is true for Fira. This Dino is really mysterious. Even any type of magic will do. It shouldn't be too hard to deal with you guys. Dino said that a magic circle bloomed in front of his right hand, and a golden light flashed. A blood red, 1.8 meter-sized sharp knife appeared. Without seeing Dino draw his sword, a sword flashed before the two of them. Jura reacted very quickly and manipulated the rock to block in front of her. Wow la la! The rock wall here was chopped to the ground as soon as it was formed. Monument. The overnight response of 0.0 over there was also dissatisfied, and a small bottle was held in the palm of his hand, which was smashed by the sword. Fragrance poured into his nostrils. When needed, the body became bigger overnight, and the muscle tissue was particularly eye-catching. Man, thank you Mr. Dino for the slash. Sideways with arms high drums, posing in a cool shape also winked for Dino. For a moment Dino only felt a tingling in his back. Sure enough, I still can't understand Mr. Yi's style. Let's get rid of it as soon as possible. Dino wiped the goosebumps on his arm and jumped back immediately. I see. The place where he was still standing just now swelled up a rock pillar and struck it with precision. Look up. Yingluck has activated magic again. It is impossible to have the slightest carelessness. If you don't call out your moves, you don't play cards according to the routine. Damn it, Dino said angrily. Chapter 141, Lock the Battle. Will Fairy Tale win? Mr. Dino, we are racing. Tiara said that he lifted up the high rock wall under his feet and set him off to a high place to prevent Dino's move. Hey, actually, height is useless to me. Dino shook his head with a sigh. His body swayed, and the figure disappeared in less than a second. Just when Jura and Yi thought the move was invalid, Yi's clothes and hair were instantly chopped off, and a big bald head and shirtless Yi was in front of him. Everyone in Blue Pegasus covered their foreheads involuntarily. Mr. One Night, you should quit the game. Dino's figure reappeared, punching the bald head of the knight, defeating him. Dino beats One Night, score +5. Noise. The entire audience at the scene fell into a commotion again. The live report Shambhatti also explained, it's amazing. Mr. Dino of Fairy Tale has once again defeated a player, and so far Fairy Tale's score has reached the first place, with a score of 50 points. Could it be that the Great Demon Fight and Martial Arts are about to lock in the ending ahead of schedule? Dino is facing off against Jura again. Who will it be this time? However, Dino's 16 slashes were not over yet. The table pull, who was lifted up with a rock column, also found that the rock under his feet had also been cut off with marks. That is why he stabilized in time. Otherwise the stone pillar will also be broken. He also falls from a height. Kiss okay. Mr. Jura is much smarter than last time, and it seems that there is not much hope for using a knife. Dino laughed jokingly, put away the weapon in his hand. His hands are also wrapped in billowing flames. Is Mr. Dino serious? Jura looked at the flames on those fists with great vigilance, and he knew that Dino should be serious now. It also means that he is not far away from defeat. Actually, I really want to play more with you. But for our plan, we have to speed up the progress. Dino jumped into the air. The surrounding wind magic carried its body and attacked Jura. I won't let it go. Fela clasped her hands together again, and the gravel floating on the rock pillar under her feet hit Dino. Celestial magic Meteor. Dino drank lightly, and the body speed limit increased. When he came to the top of Biaola's head, a fiery red magic circle bloomed at the elbow of his right fist, and the billowing flames burnt as a boost. hitting by a las head iron wall. The rock above his head turned into a shield to block his head, resisting Dino's blow. It's useless. Fire dragons, iron fist, boom, Peng crash. The rock shattered, and the rock shield could not resist for even a second. At the moment when the fist and the shield met, the shield shattered into rubble and exploded towards the surroundings. And Sora also controlled the rock to send him to the ground in a very short time. It's very fast. I know that you can't face hard steel with me. Dino smiled. Compared with the last confrontation, this time Jura clearly knew her weakness, and no longer confronted him in front of him, intending to consume his magic power in a protracted battle. Pity. Dino murmured softly, flames running from the corners of his mouth. Eyes turned into dragons. The body is wrapped in billowing flames when needed. Fire dragons, roar. The fiery breath spewed out, and the incoming and outgoing flames were majestic like a dragon, pulling a blow towards the table below. Sarah drank it, and once again used powerful defensive magic to cover her entire body. Rocks and flames collide. Dino didn't wait for Fire Dragon's roar to make a contribution. The flames of his body disappeared, and a storm was billowing around him. Wind magic storm crush. The wind blade swept through the houses and land in the streets and alleys, and everything around was cut by the invisible wind blade. The roaring flames below were also mixed with extremely sharp wind blades. The most powerful defensive magic rock was cut into smaller and smaller mountains. It looks like you're done here. Dino crossed his hands, the golden magic circle runes flowed, and the magic power flowed hugely. Light magic marriage of light. The light beam is as fast as lightning, as fast as a sharp blade unsheathed, and it is instantly stimulated, piercing the strongest defensive magic of the table without stopping. Rumbling dash. Rocks were shattered. The gravel was scattered everywhere, and the place was a mess. The beam of light stabbed the table without any reduction, and penetrated his arm. Instantly lost combat effectiveness. Healing magic. Mr. Jura, you eliminated. Dino put his fingers together and gave Saru a look. He healed his arm a little and turned away. And the table pull was also successfully defeated. Dino beat Tara. Score +5. Again. Dino beat Tiara again with a landslide victory. Welcome again to Cheers. Victory again. Fairy Tail's score has reached 60 points. Basically it's almost locked in the battle. Yeah, it didn't take long for the opening to reach such a score, and the next time it will be completely locked in the battle. I'm afraid it's not necessary for other people to fight again. Yeah, this is simply too strong. The audience went crazy as they watched Dino take the captains one after another. The battle will now be locked. If it goes on like this, there is no need for other people to continue. It's amazing. Fairy Tail's score has reached 60 points. As long as he defeats a captain again, then the battle will be completely locked. The live report. Shambhatti was also excited. The guests beside him thought it was incredible. He didn't expect Dino to be able to defeat the 3 captains. Is it really going to end 767 early this time? In the game scene, all the members understood at this moment that if Dino was beating a captain, there was no need for the game to go on. Sting sat on the side, thinking. In the end, he also decided to take on Dino himself. Do you think so too? Just 2 steps away, Rogue also appeared from the side, came to Sting's side and spoke. No way, even though we know that Dino is very strong, but the situation is not good for us now. We must delay his speed. Sting said this. He only hoped that Miss and the others would be faster. Defeat the captains of the other teams as soon as possible, and their Sangyongs are going to hold Dino head on. Now, live report. Shambhatti naturally also saw this scene. Hold the microphone high and explain. At this moment, the 2 dragons of Swordbite Tiger actually unite together again. It looks like they are going to block Dino. What kind of battle will this be? What does Mr. Yajima think about this? Ajima next to him nodded. The Shuanglong of the sword-biting tiger also realizes that it must be stopped, otherwise this battle will also end. Mr. Yajima, have these 2 ever played Dino? Shambhatti asked. Yajima smiled and shook his head. It's not clear. The combined power of the 2 dragons is still very powerful, but Dino didn't show his full strength from beginning to end. It's really hard to say. Chapter 142, Dino, this is called Dragon Power. On the high platform, the original Mavis was grieved in tears. Woo. I didn't cry, Mavis said, watching Sangyong, who was gradually approaching Dino in the field, was also very aggrieved. According to my plan, Dino's next opponent should be Rufus. After defeating Rufus, the battle situation will also be completely reversed. Why did it suddenly become like this? Woo, I didn't cry. Behind, Makarov hurriedly called out, come on, someone to coax the first generation. On sight, Dino sat cross-legged on the ground, stretched out his hand and grabbed a card. When he was about to check it, he noticed that there were 2 not weak people approaching. Although it's a little different from the plan, but don't worry, let's have fun. Dino got up from the ground. Look at the 2 people slowly approaching. Soon, Sting and Rogue also meet Dino. Shuanglong, it's a pleasure to meet you in this session. In fact, I originally planned to leave you at the end. But right now, it's nothing more than a little more time delay. Dino smiled and glanced at the rising magic power in the 2 people in front of him. Stop talking nonsense, let's fight. Sting stomped on the ground, his fists wrapped in divine flavor. Rogue didn't stop there either. Fight alongside Sting. The hands are pure darkness. Haha, interesting. Dino laughed. The magic in his body also spread quickly, and the arc of lightning jumped around. Form a unique space. He also rushed over. Blah blah blah. Dino fights Sangyong alone. His strength and speed are very fast. There were no three figures in the whole scene for a while, and the state had become a shadow, a light, a thunder, and three colors. Bang 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 dash. Dragon Slayer is powerful. The aftermath of each other's battles is also quite large. The stone and brick land on the ground cracked open and cracked, and the cracks spread all over the surrounding houses and ground. The airwaves of the collision of fists and power blow around. The wall full of cracks was still unable to withstand the fluctuations of the battle between the two sides. That power was released, squeezing everything around. The wall collapsed. The three are separated. There are rubble all around. Opposite Sting and Rogue stand together. He stared cautiously at Dino. The power of the white dragon has increased a lot. It should have the power to stimulate emotions. Speaking of dragon-slaying magic, it is really amazing. When you are emotional, your power can increase rapidly. Dino spoke with a smile. The third-generation Dragon Slayer. In fact, the power is not weak. It's a pity that the magic power in the body is limited, and it seems that the generation is not as good as the generation. Humphrey. Then you can feel it. Sting hummed through his nose. Charged again. Rogue followed closely behind. Their purpose is not to beat Dino, but to delay the time to allow teammates to score points quickly. Great for my two little dragons. Dino's left and right fists met the fists of the two men. When asked, Dino's body flew out. It wasn't that Dino was knocked out, it was his initiative. Otherwise, the strength of the two dragons is really nothing to be afraid of, and he intends to come to a real level. Sky Dragon Slayer Magic Middle. Galloping Wind, Power of Steel Arm, Power of Armor, Celestial Magic Middle. Meteor, Scent Magic Power Scent, Celestial Spirit Magic, Ugly Bull Celestial Spirit Clothes, Celestial Spirit Magic Middle. Egg Free Middle. Celestial Spirit Clothing. During the afterflight, Dino uses a series of attribute boosts. Land again. Bang dash. Just landing on the ground caused his feet to sink 10 centimeters, burying them in the broken gravel. Come on then, Ga. Monument. Dino stomped on the ground and was smashed by the force around his feet. Sting and Rogue's heart skipped a beat. Seeing Dino rushing over, he immediately punched and collided with all his strength. Peng. Hello tilde. Dino's fists meet Sting's and Rogue's. Without any hesitation, Sting and Rogue were knocked out of the body. Rumbling dash. The body slammed into the house, and the whole house could not bear the force and collapsed. Bury the two figures. White light mode. Shadow mode. The voices of Sting and Rogue came out, and at that moment both bodies were enveloped by the halo of the blazing sun. A body is surrounded by shadows. The magic power is enhanced, and the collapsed gravel is also moved, shot around by the magic power. Two figures appeared. Standing there, the magic power in the body is constantly improving. White dragons, holy breath, shadow dragons, roar. When needed, Sting and Rogue immediately puffed out their mouths and gave Dino an attacking horn. The white light and shadows rushed with some turbulent power. Wherever he passed, the ground was full of rubble, and the deep ravine was continuously pushed forward by the two attacks, and the target was exactly Dino's whole person. Once this powerful roar and breath hit, it will definitely hurt. Rumbling dash. Submerged. The two powerful attacks drowned Dino. Sting and Rogue both had tensed faces. Don't be careless, this Dino's strength is definitely more than that, Sting said. Moment. Sting and Rogue were also deeply shocked by the scene in front of them. In the midst of the white light and shadows, there was a figure grabbing something to eat. Soon, the white light and shadow were actually swallowed into the stomach alive. This slip tastes good. Dino's eyes turned blood red, watching Sting and Rogue gulping with contented expression. How is it possible? You actually. Both were shocked. White light and shadow are not ordinary Dragon Slayer magic. How could they be swallowed by others? Unless, thinking of the only possibility, Sting and Rogue felt their scalps go numb. Some can't believe it. Ding dong, you are right. Dino leaked a smile. The magic in his body began to dance wildly, and a white light and a shadow rose from his body. Click. House shaking. The earth trembled for it. Dino's hair moved without wind, and the surrounding gravel was shaken by the powerful magic power. Dino's eyes turned into dragons. The hands are open. The left hand is white, and the right is dark. In the white shadow dragon mode, the powers of the white dragon and the shadow dragon are combined into one. Then our battle will come to an end. Dino's figure disappeared. At the moment of disappearing, he came to Rogue's side, and hit an uppercut with his left fist. Divine power suppressed Rogue's shadow and hit him in the face. Poppy. Blood was sprayed out, and Rogue's body was knocked hundreds of meters away, and houses collapsed along the way. The rumbling sound was particularly loud throughout the city. As soon as Sting heard the movement, he felt a surge of power coming from his face, and the magic in his body could be mobilized. Bang dash. But, it's too slow after all. The right fist also landed on the face. 3 teeth were knocked out in the mouth, and the body also flew upside down like the Rogue. Response too slow. Dino murmured, and his body teleported out the next second. It came to the sky above Rogue, who was able to stand up in time when he fell to the ground. A blazing white flame burns in the fist. White shadow dragons, iron fist. Power goes. The fist hit Rogue's stomach and it fell. Boom dash. The huge portal extends to 100 meters around. Rogue's body in the middle was even more immobile, and only the faint twitching could indicate that he was temporarily alive. Dino closed his fists and took a deep breath. The chest bulges. With both hands in front, a magic circle intertwined with white and dark appeared in front of the mouth. Roar at the side where Sting fell. White shadow dragons, roar. A gigantic roar of white and black merging spewed out, and the darkness of divine light and shadow swept across the house and earth, rolling with the breath of destruction. Power destroys everything. The deep ravines of the earth manifest great power. The unparalleled terrifying power will drown Sting. Dino withdrew from the white shadow dragon magic and removed all boosting effects. Turn around and leave here. As soon as he took a few steps, he heard a struggling voice behind him. Turn around and look. Sting and Rogue get closer again. Now, they clenched their teeth and activated the dragon power in their bodies. Scales belonging to dragons appear on the body. Roaring, two people rushed over again. One punch hit Dino's straight door one by one, infinitely close to the power of the dragon rushing towards you. Dino crossed his arms in front of his face. Bang dash. This and this are joining. The power transmitted from the arms also caused Dino to slide his feet back several meters. There are scars on the arm, but soon the scar disappeared again with white smoke. Is this the dragon power of the white dragon and shadow dragon? Dino retracted his arms and patted the dust on his trouser legs and couldn't help laughing. Let me show you what the real dragon power is. Saying that, the magic in Dino's body was instantly released. A scorching flame melted the surrounding houses, and the soaring magic power smashed the white clouds in the sky. Zows. The air screams. Scales appear on Dino's arms. Dragon scales also appear on the forehead and the corners of the eyes. The mouth opened, and the teeth swayed and a few hard teeth grew out. The aftermath of the magic release blew around. Fascinated by the vision of Sting and Rogue, the two of them immediately controlled the body that was affected by the aftermath to cover their eyes. The small stones in the streets and alleys are passive. All the participating members couldn't help but stop fighting, feeling the powerful magic sweeping towards them. I am also terrified. This might be too powerful. The wind blows. Dino reached out and waved at Sting and Rogue in front of him. A gust of wind formed a tornado. Roll up two people and send them into the air. Dino takes a deep breath. The power is rising steadily. The arc of the body jumped around the body, and the flames that burned everything circulated in the mouth. All attacks hit the mouth. The flame dragon kings roar. The beam flame roaring about 5 meters wide blooms from the mouth. The arc dances around the flame like a dot. The roar sounded like a huge dragon roar attacking the sky, instantly covering Sting and Rogue in the air. The flame beam did not stop. Continue to move towards the sky, and disappear until the white clouds are broken. In the air, two figures fell from the sky. Bang dash. Falling to the ground. I don't know my life or death. Chapter 143, Shuanglong Fiasco. Froze. One of the people present was stunned. Looking at Dino, who defeated Sang Yong again without injury, they didn't know what to say. Powerful, too strong, invincible. How long does it take from start to finish? It seems to be very long, but in fact, the other teams have just collided and contacted, and the members of Fairy Tail have not yet met other opponents. This is enough to show the power of Dino. After almost meeting someone, it is an instant kill situation. Even in the face of the equally powerful Sang Yong, this strength is enough to make the whole game fall into a one-sided situation. Is there any need to fight like this? It's not good at all. There is such a powerful Dino, unless the rest of Fairy Tail are free to eat. But how is it actually? The remaining 4 players in Fairy Tail are also not weak. It's great. Everyone can see that at this moment, Dino won the victory against Sang Yong once again, and now the balance of victory has turned to Fairy Tail. The live report Shambhatti also passionately analyzed the current situation to the audience, exclaiming, all adjectives are limited at one time. 770. And the audience has been truly shocked by the scene in front of them. The last day of the great demon fighting and martial arts was able to lock the battle situation in advance. Explain what? All this shows that even Fairy Tail with a 7-year blank period is still the most powerful guild. All are amazed. Say different. Admiration is speechless. They cheered, clapped, and shouted the name of Fairy Tail with red faces. At this moment, I swear loudly, the strongest guild. There is no hope. The Shuanglong of the Sword-Bite Tiger has already been defeated. What other members can fight next? No one thought that the final victory would be Fairy Tail. It's not bad that it was the most powerful mage guild in the past. Their strength is as strong as ever, especially this Dino, who is really taking the limelight in this competition. Saint Ten loses, Shuanglong loses, and the current guild adds up to no one who can stop him from advancing. The audience cheered. All of them looked at Dino in the picture excitedly, and chatted with their fellow companions who came to watch the game at the same time. On the high platform, Makarov and the others also raised their chests and smugly hung on their faces. Invincible. This is the loneliness of invincibility. What is the double dragon of the sword-biting tiger is just like this. Makarov was happy, excited, and satisfied. The look in Dino's eyes was even more satisfying. The powerful guild was created by Dino, and it all represented their early victory. Marvelous. The rest of the guild were also very excited. Anon, Sino, Dino has 2 more points, and now our score has reached a kind of horribly high score, and unless someone can dig the remaining members, they will never get the first place. Levy also revealed that Anon was also excitedly watching. Looking at Dino in the camera is also very satisfied. I feel more and more that Dino is so handsome and handsome. Dino is the strongest. Anon also nodded her cute little head as a matter of course. She naturally always believed in Dino's power. Over there, Kana and the others were also very excited, and they all had smiles on their faces, although not speaking. But everyone could see that they were very happy. Front. The first generation Mavis also had a smile on his face, and he was a little unhappy because his calculations were wrong. But also at this moment put on a beautiful mood. The hair on the head swayed, and the little feet swayed freely. It was also very happy to hear the audience's praise and recognition for Fairy Tale. Next, look at Lagosas and the others. The original Mavis said. Looking at the remaining 4 members, they all meet their opponents. As long as they get 3 to 5 points, then the victory has been locked in advance. Players in the game below, all the people's faces were very ugly, and some people even stopped fighting. Currently their scores are very low. It's not necessary to continue fighting. It's better to just admit defeat. Only the remaining 3 of the sword-biting tiger are still fighting hard, and these 3 are exactly the 3, Oruga, the magician of the thunder god, Rufus, the memory modeling magic, and the captain Minerva. Few of the other guild members were still fighting. However, Kigura, the captain of Mermaid Sleep, has already met with Erza and Minerva. Start a duel between the strong. Dino here. Walk up to Sting and Rogue, make sure they aren't dead, and take out the guard again. Although the rest of the game doesn't matter, but since you plan to lock the battle situation in advance, you must be careful. Dino waved the card in his hand. Soon another figure appeared in his hands. A neat long hair, she-bangs are covering the forehead. He was wearing a white double-breasted shirt and held a long knife in his hand. This person is the real captain of Mermaid Heel, Kagura Makazuchi. Use a knife. I don't know that our resentful knife is not afraid of Daitan, my demon knife, who is the strongest in the Moonlight Night. Dino murmured softly. The demon sword is a special longsword he owns. At least Dino has never seen this knife in Fairy Tale. However, according to the tips given when obtaining this sword, it is said that the demon sword is enough to make people who are not strong enough to see ghosts and gods. In fact, he doesn't know exactly how. It has basically never been used, and this special demon sword has never been produced. Forget it. Let me try your hand, Dino said. His body flashed away. He has always used teleportation magic to determine the position of the target according to the gods, and teleportation magic to transfer his body. So he was able to find the enemy in a very short period of time. At this time, Erza is having a discussion with Kigura, the owner of the grudge, but Erza was beaten without the ability to fight back, and anyone who was beaten by any force could not resist at all. Don't be afraid of Dacian Xiang type. Kigura used a move and released a cross-slashing wave in front of him to slash at Erza, and Erza's pupils are locked. She was certain that she could not resist this move at all. Can it only passively withstand the power of this blow? No Moonflow. At this time, there was a soft murmur in the ear. That cross-chop wave was smashed by an unknown force. Just 2 meters away from Kigura, Dino was holding a red and purple scabbard in his hand. The scabbard was engraved with 3 heads and 6 arms, and the 3 strange heads had a single horn on their foreheads. Those eyes were blood red with endless killing. Chapter 144, The Great Demon Fighting Martial Arts Champion is Fairy Tale. Both Erza and Minerva reacted immediately, looking at Dino's dazed look. Kigura also reacted. Immediately turned around and looked at Dino, who appeared suddenly, with a solemn expression and a long knife in his hand. Fairy Tale Dino. Kigura's mouth collided up and down, spitting out a few words. Dino grinned at Kigura while holding his knife. Yo, 3 beauties are good. Dino raised his palm and looked at the 3 women in front of him, especially Kigura and Minerva, who stayed for a while. Damn it. Sting and Rogue are useless. They were beaten too. Minerva clung to Ksukun. She was very angry, and she was also a little scared, mainly because Dino's strength was really super strong. The previous battle in the water polo was too late to fight back, and Kigura's eyes were more on the long knife in Dino's hand. She can feel the power of the resentful sword that is not weaker than her own from it. Come on. What is basically certain now is that the identity of the captain belongs to you. As long as any one of you is defeated, then this is the victory of Fairy Tale. Dino raised his hand and rotated the demon knife in his hand 180 degrees. One hand was holding the hilt of the knife, the other hand was grasping the scabbard, and the blade was not pulled out immediately. The lower limb sank slightly, and the demon knife stood upright in front of him. I will kill you all. Kigura rushed out without showing weakness, and her knife also failed to unsheath. When Kigura's figure reappeared, he came behind Dino. Both of them displayed their blades very quickly. Keep the position still. Minerva and Erza watched silently with curiosity, and they wanted to know who was at a loss in this collision. Puff! A tearing sound. Dino's hooded trench coat was cut with a long slit. Dino actually, Lost? Erza was taken aback. In terms of pure swordsmanship, Dino suffered in Kagura's collision. This is enough to prove that Kagura's swordsmanship has reached a state that is far beyond ordinary people. Minerva was also surprised how powerful that Dino is. He has been targeted many times before, but now he is at a disadvantage when he sees it. And soon, Erza and Minerva found out that they were wrong. Kagura, who had crossed Dino's body, turned round. Although her clothes were not torn at this moment, there was a cut on her white face. Blood flowed down slowly. You are really strong. One round swordsmanship is on par with me. If you don't use your own magic, then you might really be here today. Kagura speaks and holds his scabbard handle. Take a deep breath and close your eyes. Open it again, and a powerful momentum is coming out. Don't be afraid of Dacian, the type of slash. Brush dash. A white chopping wave shot out in front of him, and the chopping wave of nearly 100 meters cut off the surrounding buildings. Rumbling dash. The house collapsed and collapsed to the ground with a rumble. Dino didn't show any weakness when he saw Chopper, who was getting closer. He drew out a 10-centimeter dark black blade with his right hand, covering one eye. The other eye also turned into cold-blooded ruthlessness. Demon sword middle.I slash. The body flickered, and the blade that Kagura issued was actually collapsing. The chopper was broken. It was completely smashed before Dino. Blade recovery. When successfully sheathed, Kagura's arm in front of him suffered severe pain. Looking down, the clothes on his right arm were still chopped to pieces, and the black slashes tore open the wound. Black air poured into the body. Negative emotions such as coldness, rage, anger, etc. will erupt from time to time. Kagura felt a force raging within him. Are you sure not to draw the knife? You will fail the next move. Dino held the scabbard horizontally in front of him, holding the blade with both hands, giving Kagura an ultimatum. No. I will never admit defeat. Kagura gritted her teeth, suppressing the negative emotions in her body and constantly gathering strength, raised her arm and held it on her arm. The two disappeared again. Don't be afraid of Dacian, the shape of the sword. No moon flow, draw the sword. Another collision came. This time Dino retracted the blade before Erza could analyze it, and that Kagura's body fell to the ground. Even at such a tight juncture, she didn't draw out her grudge. Win. Fairy Tail logged the battle in advance. At this moment we sincerely congratulate Fairy Tail for winning this championship. Fact report. Shambhatti also shouted into the microphone. The entire scene fell into a 3-second silence, and after 3 seconds, the audience exclaimed, ... for flowers. Oh, Fairy Tail. The strongest guild. They really are the strongest. Fantastic. Today, 7 years later, Fairy Tail has once again won the title of the strongest guild, and it was Dino who caused it all. Dino, Dino, Dino. The audience shouted. Countless people cheered Dino's name, and they burst into tears. They are so passionate. They chanted victory songs. All the people at this moment contributed the warmest cheers for Fairy Tail and Dino. Off the field, Dino also yawned at the sound. With both hands behind him, he walked out towards the exit. The battle here is over, so the next step is to deal with the battle of the dragons. Dino, wait for me. Erza also put on laughter and followed behind. 0. Minerva breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, that terrifying monster Dino didn't attack himself, otherwise this battle might really hurt him. Power. I must gain more powerful power, Minerva said and turned to leave. Backstage, all the people in the guild were surrounded and looked at Dino excitedly. It's amazing. It's not your fault. You've shown inhuman strength from beginning to end, and all the enemies will be eliminated in advance. It's great. Dino, you are indeed our guild's strongest opponent. Amazing. Awesome. All of them cheered to Dino, giving face very much. Dino, on the other hand, scratched his head and smiled, looking at the first generation mace before seeing the sky. The first generation. Has my task been completed? I still have something to do. The original Mavis also smiled when he heard the words. It's done very well. If you have something to do, just go to work, and leave the rest of the award ceremony to the 6th generation. The original Mavis didn't ask much. He waved his hand and let Dino leave, and looked at the other 4 members and said something nice to them. Dino tapped his head. He came to Pooh-Bah and reached out to touch Anan's little head. Anan, you follow Levy first, and we'll go on a trip when things are done. Dino said. Anan nodded obediently. I will be obedient. Listen to this. Dino also left the scene after chatting with Levy and Kana for a few more words. 0. Chapter 145, opened the door of the eclipse.Inside the palace castle. In the hallway to the castle, Natsu and his party meet Rogue from the future. It's to open the door. In the future, Rogue narrowed his eyes and watched as Natsu and his party also explained their purpose. Lucy surprised. Did you mean Eclipse Gate? There are 2 ways to use the Eclipse Gate. One is to travel through time and space, and the other is to use it as an offensive weapon. The Eclipse Gate cannon. This is also the only way to defeat 10,000 dragons. In the future, Rogue will continue to say such things to Natsu and others. Natsu et al. Are convinced. Then the matter is agreed. You are from our side. Great. I can defeat the dragons. You can save the future too. However, in the future, Rogue lowered his head and said, no, it's not that simple. I'm the 770s who came through 7 years later. 7 years later, the world will be ruled by dragons, and less than 10% of the human beings will survive. Of course, the solar eclipse is not as powerful as it is now. If you don't take advantage of the fact that the dragon group is destroyed now, this world will perish. Natsu, Loki and Lucy all gasped for breath. They couldn't even imagine what a world ruled by dragons would be like. A ruin? People hide from dragon attacks all the time in order to survive. Then let's open the gate and fire that cannon, Natsu said quickly. The future Rogue shook his head. But 7 years ago ... and now ... someone tried to stop the door from opening. The door didn't open and we couldn't fire the eclipse gate cannon at the 10,000 headed dragon because of the guy who led the world to destruction. And I came here to kill that man. The future Rogue's words also made the good-hearted group hesitate. The transcendent Kala said, your idea is too extreme. As long as you tell that person the truth of the matter, he should not obstruct it. Ponslilai also nodded. There is no need to kill at all. Natsu also looked disgusted. It's really hard to understand what you said. Who is that person who gets in the way? The future Rogue over there opened his eyes sharply. It's you. The right fist was covered with shadows, rushed out, and attacked forward. Lucy Heartfilia. Power becomes a sword. With an unparalleled edge, he stabbed Lucy in front of him. Such a rapid change also made Natsu and others unable to reflect in time, and they all stared at each other and exclaimed, I want to stop quickly. But the speed is still lacking. It's too late to reflect. When needed, when the future Lucy rushed forward to block Lucy's front, ready to be killed. The wind howled. A storm formed a vortex and wrapped around the sharp sword. Makes him unable to stab the future Lucy's body. Who is it? Future Rogue stared around and looked around, so fast that he was still blocked. The guy who was hiding in the dark could not be discovered by him. You really don't understand Liang Xiangxu. Dino's voice sounded. Hurry up and hurry up. It's just in time. It might be too late to say a word to Kana and Levi. Dino, brother Dino, it's you. Everyone cheered. Dino is like a pillar. Any danger can be resolved in front of him. His presence will also mean that danger is no longer a danger. I said that I want to help you, so of course I have to help you. How could you be killed? Dino flicked his fingers. The sword was instantly shattered. Turning to look at the future standing in front of him, Lucy also spoke. Thank you. She thanked. Rogue on the opposite side also found a problem. There are two Lucy. The two Lucy stood together, and the future Lucy also spoke. I can't close the door. Lucy responded, I know. Dino touched his chin and looked from side to side without interrupting. The future Rogue also said heavily, you didn't realize that you closed the door. You won't do that now, but in a few hours you'll be closing the door. As long as you live, the door is destined to be closed by you. Lucy yelled, what's the purpose of your nonsense? I won't close the door. You can't be trusted at all. The future Rogue is angry, and the shadow burns again in his hand. Everything is arranged by fate. Natsu was also angry. I almost saw Lucy die just now, and this will be angry to hear what this future Rogue has to say. It's up to me to burn all those shitty fates. The flames were burning, and Natsu also manipulated magic without showing weakness, and angered Rogue in the future. I will never let anyone hurt my companions. Rumbling dash. The corridor burst. Dino manipulated wind magic to greet everyone and distance themselves. Natsu? He'll leave it to you. You're welcome. It's okay to kill the future Rogue. We'll get out first. Dino shouted. Natsu waved his hand to block in front of everyone and looked at Rogue who was facing him with a gloomy face. The location of the eclipse gate. Dino hid in the grass with two Lucy and Wendy and three transcenders, looking at the important place surrounded by the army in the distance. We've come to an amazing place. They seem to be about to open that door. I don't know if that gate can really kill 10,000 dragons. Several people were also whispering. The two Lucy looked at the door in the distance with heavy thoughts, and they kept thinking about the call that Rogue made in the future. You don't need to hide. Come out. The leader of the Holy Knights, Arcadios, spoke directly to the flower bush. Dino and others also came out of the flowers naturally. We didn't do anything bad. Why are you with the minister? The minister also explained shamefully, because the situation has changed. Bring people to the front of the eclipse gate. The head of the regiment, Arcadios, also swept over Lu 0.0 West in armor. I'm really sorry this time. The situation is a bit special now. Let me officially apologize to you in the future. Princess Jade greeted with a smile. Fairy tale. Congratulations on your victory in the great demon fight. Dino's eyes swept across the various present and finally stopped at the eclipse gate of the Gundam, touching your chin, thinking, can you go to the past and future through this door? That is not to wait for the opportunity to come and open it. Then go to the place where Fairy Tale was first established to play. After thinking about it, Dino temporarily suppressed the thought. Let's talk about it later. Wait a long time. The sky has also dimmed, and Princess J took a deep breath and started to open the door of the solar eclipse. The two Lucy also felt mixed feelings in their hearts when the door slowly opened. Dino is also always ready to take them away. Chapter 146, Dragon from 400 years ago. Wow wow! The door of the solar eclipse slowly opened, and the tall door radiated light. Dangton. The big bell at the top of the castle chimes the bell that belongs to the day of July 7th. High in the sky, The blood-red moon looked a bit coquettish, and countless people raised their heads to look at the moon in the sky. The opening of the eclipse gate is getting wider and wider. A burst of white smoke came out from the other side of the gate, surrounding the scene, and the white smoke was spreading all around. Magic power leaked out from the other side of the gate. What a powerful magic. It's really strong. Maybe it can really annihilate the dragon group in one fell swoop. Gather such powerful magic in one place, so that the future can be saved. Lucy looked dazed. Both Lucy's eyes lost their color and stepped forward. +15. Can't open the door. The two Lucys thought so, and walked towards the gate together. No, you must not open that door. Close the door. Close it now. Can't open that door. Lucy and the future Lucy are both roaring 16 at the door. The people around looked suspiciously. I don't understand why Lucy would say such a thing at this moment. Meanwhile, Happy, Carla and Bonsly couldn't help but think of future Rogue's words. The door is destined to be closed by you. The door of the eclipse is opened. Lucy also begged to the king's army, please close the door. The princess didn't understand, still fighting for it. No. This is the only weapon that can fight against dragons. If you close the door now, the eclipse gate cannon will not be able to fire, Princess said. In the future Lucy is also moving forward. There's no eclipse gate cannon at all. It's a gate. It's a gate that connects time and space. Naturally, the princess could not be obedient, and spoke again. Release its stored magic power, that is the eclipse gate cannon. Watching the quarrel between the two women, Dino didn't speak and still stared at the scene in the sun candle gate. Dragon, show up soon. Dino kept talking in his heart. Suddenly, Lucy spoke directly. That door is connected to the time and space of 400 years ago. When you want. Everyone was shocked. Don't wait for the princess to ask the specific content. The earth shook suddenly. The ground shook quite violently, as if something terrible was about to appear. Roar. The dragon appears. A swirling giant dragon stepped out from the door of the solar eclipse. The princess was shocked. The dragon actually came out of the door. The dragon's roar pierced the sky, and the roar caused many soldiers present to overturn it. The incomparably tall dragon body came out. Every step crushes the stone bricks on the ground. Roar. The sound of dragon roar shook the clouds. Everything around the eclipse gate was shattered by the shock. House, building, ground. Even in this roar, it was impossible to maintain the original state, and the roaring airwave overturned all the buildings. It's so powerful. No, how could this kind of thing have been beaten? What the hell is this? Soldiers were in disarray. One by one called out in horror, watching the tall dragon in front of him utter powerless words. Dong 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 dash. The earth shook again. A giant dragon came out of the gate of the solar eclipse again, and the still strong physique and tall body also made the people present panic. Another one came out. What the hell is going on? He came out of the door again. Countless people looked at the giant dragon with trembling voices, and sat on the ground powerless. Tell me how to close this door. Hurry up. The two Lucy immediately rushed to the princess' side and questioned the princess nervously. The guild pointed to one side. On the throne over there. After the princess finished speaking, the two Lucy hurried over, and a third giant dragon emerged from the eclipse gate, and this giant dragon was surrounded by flames. The scorching temperature is rising. Roar. The sound of the dragon's roar was deafening. Lucy, who rushed out during the sound wave, was shocked and flew out. Dino put his arms around them to prevent him from getting hurt by the air. Another dragon appeared. The soldiers could no longer remain calm. Wow! Another dragon comes out. Protect princess, don't back off. All those who back off are deserters and go out. Everyone is in formation and ready to fight. Everyone panicked. They were all afraid to escape from here, and the huge dragons also shrouded their hearts. The princess also glared at her and muttered to herself, 10,000 dragons came through this door. The Lucy rushed again. Wendy followed. Lucy, how did you find out? Now Lucy responds, I didn't find out. It's Grandpa Crew who has been investigating. Just now he finally fully passed the door, a device that combines the magic of the Book of Zeraf and celestial spirit magic. It could have been used to formulate time coordinates and move in time and space. But only today is different. That moon interferes with the magic, so the door can get out of control. Magical chaos. The princess suddenly thought of this possibility. Lucy over there continued to pull the device hard to close the eclipse gate. Roaring, it is connected to 400 years ago. That is the era when dragons survived. The minister also looked at the dragon in horror. How come? Another one came out. It's the rock. The rock is moving. Countless people were terrified, and many soldiers even threw away their weapons and started fleeing from here. 770 scene. The princess knelt on the ground, with tears in her eyes. She was disheartened. Zygong wrote, it's all my fault, because I made the wrong choice and the world will end. Lucy is trying to close the door. Everyone else looked anxious and nervous. They are all a little afraid that 10,000 dragons will appear in this world, and then everything will be destroyed. Dino looked at the dragon that appeared, and it was almost there. Shouting to Lucy, take out the celestial spirit key of the zodiac, and block the gate with the 12 celestial spirit. There. Yukino and Myra also appeared just in time. The former also threw out his own key in his hand. If the 12 were to spin in the air immediately, if it blooms with golden light, it will illuminate the heavens. The dazzling light made the soldiers close their eyes. Dino also took a few steps back and watched silently. That Yukino and now Lucy are also holding hands. "O celestial spirits of the zodiac, please lend me the power to seal evil. Open, come on." 12 doors. Light blooms. Lucy and Yukino are enveloped in golden light. There were also countless golden lights blooming around the two of them, and the celestial spirit of the 12 houses appeared in the shadow behind them. 12 celestial spirits soared into the sky. He rushed towards the door of the solar eclipse and built 12 positions on the door. Power is constantly being released. The door was slowly closing. Chapter 147, 7 Dragons. Flavor, broken. The eclipse gates are closed. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Closed. It's too early to be happy. How many dragons appear in total? 7 dragons. Someone is talking. At this time, the future rogue also slowly walked out from one side. There are really you, Lucy, Yukino. The corner of his mouth raised a satisfied smile. However, 7 are enough. To be honest, I can't control one dragon. The soldiers are on alert, and for now the future rogue is also the enemy. What's the meaning? It's the man who told me about the future. He is the future man who deceived the princess? Several people looked at him vigilantly. The future Lucy said at this time, Are you here for this from the beginning? Future rogue with arms outstretched. Listen to me, you foolish people, from now on will be the age of dragons. The future rogue smiled. First of all, let's kill all the wizards on the street. In the sky, the dragons that appeared were also flying towards the distance. Dragon actually obeys that guy's orders? He seemed to say something about control just now, isn't it? Carla and Poncelil noticed. The future rogue showed a gloomy face. This is the magic of manipulating dragons. He jumped up to get on the dragon. The body just flew up, but was imprisoned by an unknown object. What's the situation? Future rogue struggled. Below, everyone is also curious what this rogue is doing well in the air. Dino came out slowly. Come to the front of the future rogue, stand on the ground and look up at him in the air. It's you. Who the hell are you? The future fairy tale doesn't have you at all. Future rogue looked at Dino and spoke angrily. But before he finished speaking, he found that he couldn't speak. Dino raised his arm, pointed at rogue in the air and whispered, I'm waiting for these dragons, and you don't have it. His eyes showed killing intent. Then go to death, etc. Just as the fist was about to clench and kill the future rogue, Natsu's figure rushed up. Dino. He handed it to me. It was agreed before, let me do it. Natsu said. Dino retracted his arms and turned to come to Lucy, Myra and others. If that's the case, then leave it to you. Phew. The wind was blowing, and Dino and the guild disappeared in front of him. When it reappears, has come to the location of many guild members who have been defeated. Dino, you're here. President Makarov also spoke, and the dragon that Dino swept across the air was also very interested, and after withdrawing his gaze, he turned around and waved his hand. I'm leaving, you just need to protect yourselves, and leave the rest to me. The figure disappeared. Lucy and others also hurriedly treated the guild members for their physical injuries. The disappearing Dino appeared in front of the dragon surrounded by flames in the next second, and the magic power in his body was constantly jumping. Dino looked excitedly at the giant dragon named Atlas Flame in front of him. Let me see if Dragon Slayer can kill dragons. Saying that, Dino's body was burning with fire. The flame was glowing white, which was the color of the red flame burning to the extreme. At this time, the space around Dino's body would be burned out with a big hole. Space was a little unbearable in front of his flames. Fire Dragon's iron fist. Dino roared and twitched so hot that he punched the dragon in front of him with a punch. Boom. The hot air waves swept around, and the stone buildings that had been smashed on the earth were ravaged again. Atlas Flame screams again and again. Let the people below look up and look over, as if to determine whether they heard it wrong. Boom dash. Far away. Natsu also used a hand of flame to hit the dragon that rogue was stepping on. The giant dragon let out a miserable roar. Then Natsu shouted, Can you hear me? Everyone looked up. Natsu's figure in the air was small but his voice was very loud. Dragon Slayer magic can defeat dragons. Natsu's shout also brought everyone back to their senses, and many Dragon Slayers who were defeated or lost their hands couldn't help but think about the giant dragon that destroyed the building. Dragon Slayer is 7, and there are 7 dragons too. Kangshi Natsu shouted again hoarsely, Our magic exists for this day. It is for this battle that our Dragon Slayer exists. It's time to hunt dragons. Natsu's voice also brought back the Dragon Slayer present. And here, Dino electrocuted his fist and looked at the dragon who was screaming in pain and had a clue in his heart. Dragon Slayer magic can kill dragons. Others don't know, but Dino personally feels that if he does his best, he should be able to kill a dragon without taking too much time. But Dino didn't want to waste so much time. It seems that there is only one way for Longwa. After thinking about it, Dino felt that if he wanted to kill a dragon quickly, he would have to re-dragonize. Thinking of this, Dino fell from the sky. Dragon Slayer magic can deal with dragons. I have some other things to withdraw first. See you later. After he finished speaking, he disappeared in front of his eyes without waiting for everyone to return to their senses. The ghost of the original Mavis and Makarov looked at each other, and both saw the general idea of each other's eyes. But they didn't say it. Dino left. Zhao Zhao. He didn't deal with the dragons, because he knew that it would be more difficult to go with the strength of their 7 dragon slayers now. And he was walking in the ruins, constantly recalling some details of the Dragon King festival. After all, so many years have passed, and the memory is also a little vague, and it is necessary to quickly find what Ultear is preventing her from doing. Dragons are great, but he wasn't going to face an old woman. The ruined ground made it difficult to walk, and stones and collapsed ground blocked his way. These stones are like those dragon demons. They must be wiped out and a way out. When he still needs to get Ultear to give up using magic before killing the dragon. After all, that magic hurts a lot. I hope you don't mess around. You are my person now, and it seems that you don't take me seriously no matter what. Dino muttered. Step on the gravel and continued to move forward. Chapter 148, Ultear's Confession. When the magic that consumes life force comes to an end. There is a rare vacant lot among the ruins. Ultear slumped on the ground and looked at his hands. I gave up. Didn't kill him. But that's not the problem. Rather, I actually wanted to kill someone who had no sin. I am so arbitrary that I want to take people's lives, and I still haven't changed. What about the witch's sin? My sin cannot be eliminated at all. Ultear thought to himself, feeling how ridiculous he was at the moment. Looking up at the starry sky, hot tears flowed in my eyes. These are hot tears, and they are also ridiculous tears. Maybe I am not qualified to live anymore. Ultear was saddened. My life is full of curses. Deceiving people, laughing at people, taking people's names. Soon Ultear had 6 years of laughter and laughter. Dino, you are the light of infinite hope. Those 6 years were full of laughter, but unfortunately I didn't see you again before I died. Ultear thought to himself, saying there might be something to regret. Then maybe it's because I can't keep the promise to meet with Dino every year. I originally wanted to atone for the fantasy of being an ordinary woman after atonement, and spent the post 773 half-body, but in the end it didn't change. I'm still the witch who can kill without hesitation. Ultear's eyes filled with silence. She already wanted to die. I'm no longer qualified to live. Kneeling down on the ground, with both arms on the ground, I thought of the magic of the past, the end of time. What are you doing? At this time, Dino came out of the abandoned building, and Ultear, who watched the magic in his body start to run, also asked a question. After hearing the sound, Ultear's body trembled slightly, but he quickly stopped the thought of turning his head. Dino, sorry, I think maybe I won't be able to keep my promise to see you often, she said. It might also be an honor to see Dino again before dying. That's it. Good. At the end of the day, if the world's time is reversed, the caster will lose his own time, which is death. Dino didn't approach, sitting on a rock nearby. Talk to Ultear here, and keep an eye on everyone in the battle. He couldn't let Grey and the others die. Sure enough, you who also possess the arc magic of time also know this time reversal move. Ultear was not surprised. She knew too much about Dino in just 6 short years. Understand that Dino has nearly all the magic known in the world. Similarly, as lost magic, it is natural to know it. You have to sacrifice yourself in exchange for the time reversal of the Eclipse Gate. But have you ever thought about it? Maybe your life can only be reversed by 1 minute. Dino pointed to his temples with both hands. He is preparing for the preparations for memory modeling magic. If this minute can give everyone enough advantages, then I am willing to sacrifice my life. I hope you can live well with Meredy in the future, Dino. Ultear began to prepare to use magic. She is now ready to sacrifice. You have no right to die. Dino drank it sharply. Ultear stiffened, turning his head to look at Dino. From the moment you became my woman, your life is no longer what you said. Especially now that you are going to use this ability in front of me. Do you think it is possible? Dino is very strict. To be honest, according to the plot, Ultear's magic use can indeed represent the opening of victory. But now that he was there was no need to use that magic. But my sins won't go away, and the battle situation won't change. Ultear bowed her head. She was very independent. But in front of Dino, there is no such strong claim. Just like a weak and flustered little girl. It's just a sin. I'll help you offset it. As Dino spoke, the magic within his body began to flow, making magic of memory. Quack. The voice fell, and beams of light bloomed from Dino and even above, and the seemingly countless golden, color beams were listening toward all those who were in danger of life. Boom 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 dash. The explosion occurred violently, and all the people who were about to die looked at the small monster killed by the beam with lingering fears. What the hell is going on? I feel like I might have been hit in the head without that beam. Who rescued us at a critical moment? The beam is very familiar. It seems to be the magic of Rufus of the Swordbite Tiger, but his magic power does not seem to be so strong. Who could have rescued us at a critical moment? Many mages had this thought in their hearts, and decided to wait until the battle was over to look for it. Look at who exactly did these things, and everyone in Fairy Tale was also terrified. The magic just now is 80% Dino. Although this magic is very similar to Rufus of the Swordbite Tiger, its magic power is similar to that of Dino. Grey looked at the monster smashed by the beam and spoke. Dino sir, Juvia's life has been rescued by Dino's armor, and it seems that Juvia can only promise herself. Juvia said excitedly with the little stars in her eyes, and fell into her own fantasy again. Leon did the same, although he didn't speak. He felt that what Grey said was very reasonable. The other members fell silent. But soon, he fought hard against the dragon-shaped monster again. Live here. Ultear didn't say anything. She could sense that what Dino did just now seemed to be traceable, but still not enough. But this won't end the battle, and there will still be a lot of people injured and even life-threatening. Ultear said, back again. Let me come and fight my life to turn this situation around. 1 minute. I don't believe that I will try my best to restore the world to before the door of the eclipse opens. Ultear was ready to use the life-sucking magic again. Enough. Dino drank. He was a little irritable. This woman does not cherish her own life. It is simply a lesson. He stepped forward angrily, looked at her angrily, and gave her an order. I can solve this battle. After finishing the process, you will go home and be a beautiful vase. Don't do anything. When will you be able to cherish your life before going out? After she finished speaking, she raised her palm and rubbed it on her head. Get up and stand up. Stand in front of Ultear and adjust your breath. When needed, the seemingly bottomless magic began to boil. The release of that magical power also caused Ultear's body to be blown upside down and fly a constant distance. He raised his arm in front of his eyes and looked at Dino. The air trembled. Ripples stirred by magic power spread like ripples. Flavor. The earth began to crack open, and from where Dino stood on his feet, cracks like spider webs opened around him. This crack spreads. The diameter is up to a distance of nearly a kilometer. In a big earthquake, the gravel was carried and suspended to form a strange aura around it. Magical release. The strange moon even became much dimmer under the influence of this magic power. Chapter 149, Dragon Transformation. The flame dragon is coming again. Is that what Dino is all about? Ultear muttered to himself, feeling the terrifying magic in the air. But he quickly denied it again. No, it's not all strength. He still seems to be able to handle it at this moment. Phew. The wind howled. Seemingly angry, Ultear said that Dino is full of strength at the moment, and the energy brought by the magic power is even more violent. All the members at the scene felt this huge magic for the first time. Even the attacking moves of the dragon slowed down a bit, and looked at Dino's current position with a solemn gaze. Is it Dino? It looks like he's going to use that state. Makarov swept over here panting. There was probably a guess in his mind, which he understood when Dino said he had something to deal with. Although Dragon Slayer is powerful, but now they are not enough to kill the 7 dragons in front of them. So the only way is to kill the dragon with a dragon. It was then that Makarov knew that Dino was going to be a dragon again. Feeling the same magic power as that of Sirius Island, I can analyze it, and this is what Dino prepared before the dragon transformation. There are also some expectations in my heart. I don't know how the dragon like Dino will deal with opponents who are also dragons. Victory, fail, equal division of spring and autumn. The magic is stirring. Dino could no longer take a deep breath and looked up at the moon. At this time, a huge magic circle with a diameter of 1 kilometer appeared above his head. The fiery red and gorgeous magic patterns are circulating, shocking everyone. Countless people are puzzled. How can this magic circle be so big, and the height is only 1 person tall? Could it be that someone can't use the magic? But what kind of magic needs such a powerful magic circle? No, it's definitely not right. It's too coincidental. When this magic power and the magic circle appeared, shouldn't there be a lot of dragons popping up from other places? The master of this magic circle is already a superhuman being, and more powerful moves will be used in the future. We're sure to win. Everyone thought so. On sight, Ultear has long been stunned. Of course she has seen the huge magic circle, but it's the first time to see such a big one. At the same time, there is a great doubt in his heart. What exactly is the magic that Dino will use at this moment? It needs such a large magic circle. At this time, I saw Dino's body slowly shrouded in fiery red light. His body flew up and passed through the magic circle, and what passed through was Dino's human body, but it was not Dino's body that appeared above the magic circle. It's a red with an unknown pattern, a dragon head. The dragon head continued to leap up, and soon a blood-red dragon was suspended in the air. How come? Ultear was startled, staring at the dragon that appeared in front of him. Goosebumps all over his body. It turned out to be. But why did Dino become a dragon? Roar, roar. The domineering dragon roar resounded throughout the city, and all the people and the dragon stopped fighting, turned his head and looked over. How is it possible there is another dragon? How can there be other dragons other than Akuranisha? In the future, Rogue also stared at Longyear, whose eyes trembled. He was stunned. Why did this never happen? What happened to that dragon? Who is he? Where did it come from? Why did it suddenly appear here? And what is the purpose? And the soldiers of the city and other guild members were stunned. There is another dragon. How to fight? It's going to die. The world is really going to end. Everything is going to disappear. Ha ha ha. It's going to die. It's going to die. How could the 8th dragon appear elsewhere? Then, Does it mean that there may be giant dragons in other places, 10,000 dragons? Is it about to appear? Countless horrors. They looked desperately at the red dragon that suddenly appeared, and they were also numb, and the whole person was already in deep despair, waiting for the end of the world to come. Everyone panicked. They don't even continue to flee. No matter how they flee, it is impossible to survive, and the world will be ruled by giant dragons. And only the group of Fairy Tale Sirius Island understand what this dragon represents. It's the giant dragon that appeared on Sirius Island, with a red body and unusual patterns on its back. It's a giant dragon that can compete with Acronoia. It's over. We're really going to die here. Elfman's body trembled as he watched the utter despair of the famous dragon. Mirror Jane is also scared to pick up her sister Listener. Looking at the familiar giant dragon with tears in their eyes, everyone was shocked. Ask for flowers. Oh, get rid of Makarov and the ghost of the original Mavis, and everyone else feels a deep despair. Only after having experienced the Battle of Sirius Island can one understand the power of Nokia, and the mysterious red dragon who can fight with Nokia will not be too weak. The 7 dragon slayers also had different moods. This guy is the mysterious red dragon that can stand shoulder to shoulder with a Noia. Lagosas was terrified physically and mentally. The feeling he had never had before appeared on his body again at this moment, and he looked at this red dragon in despair, pain, and helplessness. Is he also going to inform humans? Gagil gritted his teeth and looked at the red dragon, and when he recalled the battle on Sirius Island, he felt powerless. Although they didn't personally feel the power of this red dragon, how could it be so ordinary that it could compete with the black dragon at Nokia? Again, another dragon. We only have 7 dragon slayers, and this new dragon gives me a much scarier feeling than the 7 known ones. Sting and Rogue also stood together and clenched their fists. This new dragon felt stronger than all the dragons they had ever seen, and even more powerful than the ones who taught them dragon-slaying magic. This guy. The same goes for Natsu. He was also sweating coldly on the flame dragon at the moment, and the powerful dragon brought him a powerless struggle. How did this go? And Ultear rang at this moment. The red dragon from 7 years ago. So, did he protect Sirius Island? Ultear remembered the dragon that had suddenly appeared at that time. Even more, he killed with the black dragon Acronius without saying a word, and even joked that he was fighting with a giant dragon when he was injured. Ultear didn't believe it at the time. It should look real now. However, the fact that Dino suddenly turned into a dragon made her a little unbelievable. Is he a human or a dragon? Erza's direction. Gel was extremely frightened when he saw the dragon that appeared at the moment. As someone who had known about the Sirius Island incident, he had also seen the appearance of this dragon, but he didn't expect it to suddenly appear here. Is it for domination? If it is, then there will be a catastrophe. This guy can kill the black dragon. Gel also gritted his teeth and looked at the dragon in the sky. And Erza looked at the dragon in a trance. How can its magic be so similar to Dino's? Chapter 150, Kill a dragon with one hit. Chant. The voice of the dragon roared again. Dino Hualong's wings fluttered, and a gust of wind swept through. Dust, gravel, dilapidated buildings, everything around was blown out. Dino flew towards the dragon. All alert, watch out for this new dragon. Prepare to attack him. You must delay and let the 7 dragon slayer make time. Magic ready. When all the people saw the red dragon flying towards them, they immediately gave orders to prepare for defense at all times. Ultear stayed silent as he watched Dino fly away. You can leave it to me now. Dino's voice echoed through Ultear's mind. Ultear also had a smile on his face. She wants to watch Dino resolve this crisis in person. Dino flew away. He is choosing a target. These 7 dragons are not too hard to kill. Soon, he locked one of the dragons. 773, Rock Dragon. At this moment, the Stone Dragon is fighting the Dragon Slayer of Poison. Everyone be careful, that mysterious red dragon is rushing towards us. The members of the Overnight Guild immediately exclaimed. What? We can't beat it at all. No matter what kind of move it is, there is no way to do anything against the dragon. Why does he want to come to our side? Is it because he wants to kill us all? No. I will never die. The members all controlled the magic to attack the red dragon in the air, and the seemingly unique moves hit Dino without hurting or itching. Dino glanced at the group of people and nodded. He doesn't care about the moves of these little ants. It's not effective for him at all. Continued to rush towards the rock dragon. I heard it, but I didn't expect that I would kill 2 dragons. It really makes people look forward to it. The dragon slayer Cobra of Poison looked at the threatening dragon and spoke. But no fear. However, rumbling dash. Dino dived straight from the air and immediately pinned the noseless rock dragon to the ground. The ground burst. Countless people hide their faces and hide. The next second, Dino opened his bloody mouth to face the dragon that was pressed on the ground, and bit his neck directly. Roar. Rock dragon screams. The sound is very tragic, countless times more tragic than when it was hit by the dragon slayer magic before. For a while, many people looked at it and didn't know why. That Dino didn't stop. The 4-limbed dragon claws tightly clasped the rock dragon's body, and the sharp teeth were embedded in its neck and waved its wings. Phew! The wind howled. Dino directly brought the rock dragon into the air. Who are you? Why do you want to hurt me? You are also a dragon. Why do you want to help humans? The rock dragon roared and let out a miserable cry. It doesn't understand. I don't understand why this dragon, who is stronger than himself, wants to help humans. Everyone was surprised. They did not expect this red dragon to actually help humans. Many people's brains are switched on. This red dragon turned out to be helping humans. It turned out to be our own. What? This red dragon is actually attacking the giant dragon that attacked the city. What the hell is going on? Shouldn't it be with the dragon? It turned out to be helping humans. Countless people are stunned. They always thought that the new dragon was hurting them. They even attacked directly. It turned out to be helping humans. Thinking of hurting it before, I was too ashamed to look up. So embarrassing just now. It turned out to be attacking the giant dragon who helped them. The members of the Fairy Tale Guild were also unsure. If this dragon is helping, then Sirius Island. I didn't say anything later, but everyone thought of that possibility. He was helping us deal with the black dragon. One word makes 1,000 waves. Be clear. Everyone's mind recalled the original scene, when the black dragon was about to destroy the Heavenly Wolf Island with one cannon. The red dragon appeared to attack the black dragon. That being said, it really is. Immediately, there are thousands of words of gratitude in the hearts of countless people. Makarov heaved a sigh of relief when he heard the words of the person beside him. That's good. Can he beat these 7 dragons? The original Mavis was lost in thought. Seeing that Dino, who had already fought with that rock dragon hand-to-hand, was also worried. Can he? Makarov didn't respond. In the battle between dragons, no one knows how the final victory belongs. Maybe. No, it must be possible, because that red dragon is Dino. There. In the future, Rogue also stared at the dragon who fought with the rock dragon and was angry. Damn it. You don't know where it came from. How dare you do this? Rogue was furious. These 7 dragons, each of which is his strength card. How can he watch his dragon have problems? Sadly, all he answered was Dino's roar. If that's the case, then you can become my dragon. Future Rogue said. Raise your palm to Dino. FK dragon magic. Shocked. Countless people were shocked. They're worried about Dino, and Rogue's dragon magic looks pretty strong in the future. If the dragon helping them is manipulated, then the battle is really doomed. Pity. Although Rogue's dragon fighting magic was used in the future, the result was still unsuccessful. How is this possible? Future Rogue shocked. His dragon fighting magic didn't work. You must know that this kind of magic only failed when dealing with Acronia. Now it fails again. Become Dino. This knows. The dragon's dragon feet kicked on Yanlong's body. Directly from the air to the ground, Dino bites out a bowl-sized hole at the neck. Unfortunately, this little damage has no impression on the dragon. But the next second, Dino's dragon head is raised high. The blood basin is wide open, and the burning white flame is brewing in the mouth. Then lower his head and aim at the rock dragon that is about to land. Below, everyone's hair stood up all over their bodies, and when they looked at the flames in Dino's mouth in the air, they also realized that it was not good. Everyone, run away. Everyone get out of here. 1,000 meters immediately. Immediately. Run. The red dragon's breath will be affected when it falls. The man below yelled. Without a word, he rushed out into the distance. Everyone is running away, and Dino's breath was also brewing. Aim at the rock dragon below and roar out. Yan Shenlong's roar. The flames illuminate the night sky, and the rolling flames light up the whole sky with burning glow. The mountain-like beam of flame sprayed out of Dino's mouth, full with endless power. That flame directly and unobstructed penetrated the chest cavity of the stone dragon. The flame 0.0 column has not disappeared. After passing through the rock dragon, it was bombarded to the ground of the city. Boom dash. It's like an upside-down bowl has been magnified countless times and burst open. The range of 500 meters was completely smashed by the bombardment, and nothing was left. Spider cracks spread all around, spread over 1/5 of the square of the city. And there is still a bottomless black hole with a diameter of 100 meters at the location that is facing this roar. The black hole was so deep that there was no light. A broken rock falls into it and there is no reverberation. If this cannon were aimed at the city's level, the entire city would not be much worse if it wasn't destroyed. Numbness. Everyone was numb, especially those members who were dodging just 500 meters away. Stand up from the ruins and walk to the front to look at the black hole. The whole person is numb. The dragon is so powerful. The rock dragon that was penetrated has already fallen into it, and I don't know if it is still alive.